So I'm gonna give it some time for people to come in. It's such a long time that I went live that I don't even know how to do this thing again. Such a long time. Hi everyone. Just gonna wait for people to come in. Just gonna wait for people to come in while I go live on TikTok as well. Constitutional change, regional government. New regional government. Hi Stonegate, welcome. So I'm just waiting for some people to come in. But I want it to be an interactive section. And I want us to talk about the new regions that are being proposed. Stonegate, I don't know if you're still there, if you've left. New regional government in Nigeria. New proposed regional government. Okay. So I'm going live on trying to send the live to people. Get your thoughts in. Let's see. Hello, people on TikTok. So I want to talk about this new consultation that is going on about regional governments in Nigeria. So as you know, Nigeria practices a presidential system of government, but there are talks to sort of go back to the regional government, which was how it was before the whole civil war. So yeah, I want us to talk about it. What do you think about going back to the regional government? Do you think it will help our issues with unity as a country, or do you think it is just a waste of time? Let's deliberate on it. As you know, our constitution in Nigeria is something that has been from many quarters. Even personally, I don't think it is fit for us as a country to be using that, because it was given to us by the military, and it doesn't solve any of Nigeria's issues at all. It doesn't solve any of our national issues. So what do you think about this proposed regional government? I think now they are still in consultation, and we have about 17 regions proposed, as against what used to be the 3 regions, which is the Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo region, or the Eastern region, Western region, and the Northern region, as you were. So what is your own take? What is your thoughts? Do you think we should go ahead with the 17? And if so, where do you think should be these regions? Where do you think these regions should come from? We currently have so many. I've heard a few of them. Savannah from the north, Caliphate from the north, Yoruba is sticking to Yoruba. You also have what do you call it? You also have the Igbo as a region, Akwa Ibom as a region, Lower Benue as a region. I mean, so many different regions. So what do you think about these regions? Do you think it's going to help our unity? Because Nigeria does have a unity problem. In fact, as they were deliberating on that platform, I think somebody from Rivers, which also wants to be a region, was accusing Igbos of being slaves, that they're not part of Igbo, but rather they have their own ethnicities in Rivers State there. So different people have different ideologies, different arguments. But the beauty of it is that we were beginning to talk to each other, as far as these conversations are concerned. And I think it's a good place. We need to start from there. We need to have these conversations. Hi, Sister Shidema, God bless you. Okay. I thought you would normally be on TikTok. But yeah, I want us to have these conversations about regions, and I want us to see how it helps Nigeria, because we need to solve the regional issue. Welcome. Hi, Onyeka. It's been such a long time I did live that I struggled to come live. In fact, I didn't even know that the button was switched off or turned off. And I was panicking. Oh, I've told people I'm coming live. How am I going to do? You cannot hear me? Ooh, turn up your volume, please. Nobody told me that before. Can you hear me now? Instagram said they cannot hear me. Tolu, can you hear me? I need confirmation. Oh, Happy New Year, Onyeka. It's been such a long time I came live that I didn't know Instagram has changed their whole thing. Before you do live now, you must have 1,000 followers. So I was trying to go live on the other one. You can't hear me. Can others hear me, please? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, Tolu can hear me. Onyeka, I think it's from your phone. It's from your phone. So, yeah. So there is an ongoing deliberation, consultation. I think the House of Rep wanted to change the constitution, and they sort of, oh, thank you for confirming. So they sort of came to this crossroad that, what are you changing the constitution to? So they figured that the first thing first is to, first of all, we need to have a constitution that is people-oriented. It has to come from the people. Because what they had before was military giving, handed over constitution that was just given to us by the military. So in terms of now people now generating their own constitution, they started this consultation to start first of all saying, how do we start? Because Nigeria is 250 ethnic groups. So they started this consultation and they were now asking people, how do you want to be recognized? So they are coming up with regions. Now, mind you, in the First Republic, Nigeria had 3 regions. You have the Northern region, the Western region, and the Eastern region. So now 17 whole regions is coming up. Now 17 regions, from the ones that I've listened to their presentation, which is like an hour on YouTube. If you go to, I think the name of the YouTube channel is Impact. There is the Yoruba region, there is the Igbo region, there is the Caliphate region, there is the Lower Benue region, there is the Savannah region, which is from the north, like Gombe, Taraba, all those places. There is Rivers region holding their ground. They don't want to go with the Igbos. And that's actually contesting some part of Igbo land. So Igbo land is trying to get to Opobo, so they will have access to the sea. But Rivers are claiming that it is South-South region, which means Igbos will be landlocked. And also there is, there's a lot of regions. There's Akwa Ibom region. I think they're trying to stay away from the Rivers region. All these are proposals as we speak at the minute. But I think it's a step in the right direction. If we must have a new constitution, then the people that are called Nigeria should actually generate that constitution. People need to come together and decide, okay, we are all Nigerians. We all make up Nigeria. This is how we want to be identified. So they call it English. I think it means ethnicity and language. So if you are from Yoruba tribe, or you are speaking Yoruba, or you're from Igbo, or you are speaking Igbo, then it's easier for us to divide ourselves along those ethnicity and language barriers. But then there are some regions like the Savannah region which have over 250 goddesses. I don't know who you are. I cannot accept you. Sorry, somebody sending me invites on TikTok. I really don't understand TikTok very well. So, but yeah, so there are some regions like Savannah that have multiple ethnicities. So some regions have homogeneous ethno-linguistic regions or something like that. Something to do with ethnicity and language. And some places have multiplicity of different languages or cultures. So Savannah, for example, have the Kanuri and other different smaller tribes as part of them. But at the same time, some homogeneous, like the major tribes, Yorubas will have, one big Yoruba tribe or language as a homogeneous region, and also Igbos will have mainly the Igbo tribe. But one thing is quite important that I noticed. There's a whole lot of I was hearing more marginalization than I imagined, because I used to think Igbos are the ones that always clamor for marginalization, that they are marginalized. And it started occurring to me, which is why I wanted to do this live, that a lot of people were now afraid of being marginalized, or are accusing, especially the Igbos included, that they were also marginalized under the old Eastern region. So they were now saying that the Igbo, so for example, people from the South were saying, or people from the rivers were saying that the old Eastern region marginalized them. So Igbos marginalized them. So they would rather not be marginalized by the Igbos, or rather stay in one Nigeria. Which makes me say, So we Igbos are always saying, oh, we are being marginalized, we are being marginalized. But there are other people who also think they are being marginalized. And then the guy from Savannah came up to do his own presentation. He also said that in the Savannah region, it's only people from the Kanuri tribe that are actually producing people in political power. So the Kanuri tribe produces more people in power in the areas of the Savannah, which is Taraba, Gombe, and some other places, Southern Borno and stuff like that. And they were saying that it's more of the Kanuri tribe, that other tribes from that area have not produced anybody, governor, senator, minister, and everything. And this is how much you know, or this is how you know how much of this thing that is needed, this national conversation that is needed. I know a few presidents have tried it. Goodluck tried to have confab in 2014. And I think there's a report they keep referring to, Willis report. I think that report was in 1976, that tried to address some of these issues then. And also, of course, the efforts of the military to unify Nigeria after the Civil War, which created the 12 states that, got increased to 36 states as we have it today. All these are in the effort of keeping Nigeria one. And I'm beginning to see why it is important for us to stay one. I know from an Igbo perspective, it will be easy for us to say, okay, let's pull out. But there are so many minorities. Even as Ijaw is, there are other minorities. In fact, even in Delta alone, there are so many ethnicities. Do you understand? And all these ethnicities are looking for where to anchor. And for them, unless they have that freedom of themselves, to say, okay, this is where we want, this is, because it's now that we're having this conversation that we are seeing, even from the north, people are coming to say things like, oh, we want to stay away from, these particular people, we want to have and these are legitimate concerns of these people, not just the Igbos now. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that what we felt as Igbos is actually being felt by other minority tribes that people have not been hearing their voices. And I think this consultation is good in a way because it's opening people's eyes, especially the government's eyes, to understand that as far as the topic of unity is concerned, Nigeria needs to consult with every tribe in Nigeria, every language in Nigeria, to understand how best we need to work with each other. And then we can produce a constitution that is written by the people. We do consultation and consent of the people. And that is the only time when things will start moving forward. So I'm not here to talk about I know that campaign has started. I'm not here to talk about politics. What I'm here to talk about is the core of Nigeria as a country. the core, because what they are saying now is that instead of us coming to collect FAC allocation for the 36 states, that most people are complaining that they don't even have a shot, that the best thing is for us to go back to regional government, work on those regions, and then bring money to the center, while the center will manage things like defense. Then say for example, we go back to region, then say for example, let me use the Igbo region. The Igbo region will go back to the Igbo land, use their resources, develop their place, and pay money to the central. So instead of you getting money from the federal government, you'll be paying money to the federal government. And I think that is what you call true federation. For me, I accept that. I think it is good. But then in a case whereby you have very small regions, because it seems like people are jumping on that opportunity to just go and create region for the sake of creating region, or just so that they can be separate. They don't want to be a minority in whatever region that they get carved into. So because of that, they want to create their own regions. But then what happens is that when you do that, you are not thinking about how much you are going to be paying to the central. So say for example, a region that used to be one state divides into 3 states, one state divides into 3 regions. That means what that state will have to do is to also send money to the central. So it will solve one problem, but ultimately it will bring about another problem. So for me, in as much as we want to solve the unity problem of the country, there is also we must try to also avoid the issue of having regions that cannot be economically viable, because what then happens is that these regions will breed competition. People want to, say for example, before there used to be competition. You know, the East will probably produce oil, the North will produce onions, and the West will produce I don't know what they were good at then that they were producing, even educated people and everything. And when all these things were happening, this region want to amass wealth and whatever, and then there might be chances that some regions will go back. So in as much as people want to have their own identity, to say this is our region, it is based on our tribe, blah blah blah, there is also the importance of looking at how viable economically. And these are all the things that they are asked to present. So they make presentations. Usually most of them I think they are professors. You can go on YouTube and watch them. They are very nice. I think the name of the YouTube channel is Impact. And they divide the videos like, for different regions, and they speak and make their presentation. So it's quite interesting. And I think if government manages, cocoa, so the Yorubas we are producing cocoa, I think it's good. Maybe 17 is a stretch. And like they said in one of the videos, right, the issue of marginalization will always be there, because there is no way in any region you are going to have equal representations of all the tribes. There is always going to be a main tribe that is going to be more, because we are not evenly distributed. So more so, it's also important to understand that it should be a conversation of which region do you feel like you so say for example, you cannot join you cannot create your own because you guys are too small as a region. Then which other tribe do you feel like you are more closer to, for example, to join, instead of since you cannot stay on your own? So say for example, some places might want to stay on their own because they have their own ethnicity, but if they know that they are not big enough, then they can decide, okay, let's join the Igbo region. Now it is not called state anymore, so it's called region, right? Let's join the Igbo region. For example, Anyoma wants to join the Igbos. So if Anyoma join the Igbos, then they will become part of the they will become part of the Igbo region, right? Now, rivers are still in between. A lot of them are strongly saying that they are not Igbos, while a lot of them believe that ancestry is Igbo. So in that particular instance, if they join the Igbo region, then that is good. But then they will still have some of them that feel like they are not part of it. And why I think the Igbos really want the Rivers to come on board with them is, number one, most of their names are Igbo. Ikwere is actually close to Igbo. But I don't know, for whatever reason, they are strongly, vehemently saying they are not Igbo. Obiakpo is Igbo. You can actually hear that. In fact, most of them that were presenting the Rivers listing, they were all having Igbo names, Dibia, whatever. But they're saying they are not Igbo. So that also gives me the odd feeling that some minorities from the old Eastern region do not like the Igbos being whatever, close to power or in charge. They feel like they were marginalized under them. So it's very important for us to revisit that. This thing that we are crying that Nigeria is doing to us, some other people are crying that we did it to them. And that's why they prefer to be in Nigeria. That even when we are saying, okay, let's go to a region, they are saying no, they want to be on their own. And if we had access to rivers, we would have access to the sea and we could do our importation. And now what they're offering the Igbos is like, you can be landlocked and have an agreement from other region on how to bring your your containers if you're importing. So this is where it gets interesting. So I think it's like the Igbos have more issues amongst themselves and their lower minorities than they probably thought that they had with probably the Hausas and the Yorubas. The Yorubas are very, I think again, I'm hearing that there is different regions in the Yorubas, but they are more, because of their language, they are more united in their front than what we are having in the South and the Southeast, coming up with Rivers as a region, Akwa Ibom as a region, Igbo as a region, and other little distinct. Then in the North as well, there is a lot of division, and that's why it is like 17 from something that usually was 3 regions. But be it as it may, I think it is it's a step in the right direction for Nigeria, because for so many people who have read about of course, history is not handy for most of us, but for some people who have read a bit of history about Nigeria, we are almost high in Yosuke. We are not happy with what we are reading about Nigeria. Nigeria is like a country that was created artificially and without consultation by colonial masters. In fact, it was even the girlfriend that just gave us the name. So it's like somebody called you, this is your name, this is where you be, there is no true sense of identity. And the first thing you know about somebody, if you meet somebody now, the first thing is, how far, what's your name? I'm Promise, or I'm Odera, what's your name? So it's very important that you understand identity. So that's why Nigeria has been floating. They don't know who they are. Do you understand? Now, some regions are saying that instead of having a name from one tribe that will make it look like other minorities in that region are not important, they choose to go with an English name. Like people have like I think in the North they had like Savannah region. Now, it is also important for us to understand that in any region that is created, it is not an opportunity for people to be further marginalized. Say, for example, if there are minorities in that aspect, but for them to work together, first of all, the problem we are trying to solve is to have a constitution that comes from the people. That's number one. A constitution that was not given to us by military people. That's the first thing we want to solve. A constitution that will unite Nigeria. A constitution that takes power away from the president. Do you know that Nigerian president is so powerful that everything created in Nigeria is the one that appoints it? Whether EFCC, Chief Judge. In fact, Nigerian president, I don't know who I was listening to. I don't know whether it was Showore or somebody else. It was saying that Nigerian president, I think it was what's the name of this guy that have too many cars from Kogi? Dino Milaye. So it was Dino Milaye. He was saying that Nigerian president is the most powerful in the world. How normal person go mix Malam with Igbo Amaka? I'm confused. What's that? Dino, yeah. So I think it was Dino that said it. The Nigerian president is the most powerful president because almost everything was given. And I understand why they did it. They did it as a response to the coup. They wanted to keep Nigeria one. But even at that, we have gone beyond that. We're in 2026 now, right? In that consultation, all of them said they are also buying to the fact that they all want to be one Nigeria. And why we need to be one Nigeria is because of the number of ethnicities that we have. 250 is not a joke. 250 different ethnicities are not a joke at all. What's your take on the regional change? Seems like a fair plan, right? To be honest, I think it's fair. I think it's fair. I think it's fair in the aspect that everybody is told to come up with, they are still in the beginning stage, which is why I want us to have this conversation. Remember, there was a time I tried to attempt this topic, and that's when I knew how divisive we are as a country. So I'm happy that Nigeria, initially they wanted to go and change the constitution. Hi, handsome guy, for real. But then they found out that you cannot just go and change constitution without addressing these underlying issues of unity. Now, for you to for you to address these underlying issues of unity, you must first consult the people to first of all know. First question: do you want to remain one country? All of them are saying yes, they want to remain one country, but they want regional. Now, if you want regional, we used to have 3 regions: Northern region, Western region, and Eastern region. How do you want the region? That is where the Wahala started. So the Igbos now are finding out that they even have a more problem with their brothers around them, because their brothers from the South is saying that they don't want to be part of them, even though they are bearing Igbo name. So I just discovered that the South are feeling like they are minorities and they are marginalized under the old Eastern region. So because of that, they don't want to be part of this thing. Now, the Igbos also are trying to make amends by giving somebody from the Port Harcourt the president of Ohanaeze Ndigbo. So you have some part of Port Harcourt saying they are part of Igbo, and you have some part of Port Harcourt saying they are not part of Igbo, which is a problem. Do you understand? The topic has always been tied to Biafra, and that's what caused tensions. This plan seems different. Yes, they also addressed the Bight of Biafra, which is that area of the Akwa Ibom and Cameroon area. Remember, Obasanjo gave Bakassi to Cameroon. Had that Bakassi not been given to Cameroon, it would have been given to Cross River. Do you understand? And that Cross River would have been part of, and I heard there's a lot of oil there, it would be part of Akwa Ibom. But anyway, he has given it, Obasanjo has given it to Cameroon and all of that. So all of those areas are still called Bight of Biafra, which is now changed to Gulf of Guinea. Gulf of Guinea. Yeah, praise nation. Good evening, sir. So the importance, why I am excited or why I'm happy is that these conversations are happening. These conversations are happening, and they are key conversations. And from what we are seeing now, it is not just the Southeast that have this problem. Even in the North, they are complaining that they've not actually had a say, that they want a different region. So imagine 3 regions in Nigeria producing 17 regions. That's how people want to be on their own. That's how it speaks to the volume of I am marginalized. That is Sean Leeds, you must come with problem, please. So Sean, what we are trying to say is that there is a new consultation on regions, and this region is going to replace states. So instead of having 36 governors going to the federal to collect allocations, these regions will be the one paying the federal government. So these regions will have their own sort of autonomous government controlling education, just like similar to what we have in the UK. But then they will pay money to the federal government, the government of the central. And the government of the central will now provide things like defense of the country, just like what we have in the UK. Do you understand? So it is very important that that we do this at this particular. It's supposed to be long done, because Goodluck tried this in 2014, wasn't implemented. There's a Willis report they're referring to that happened in 1976 or so that was not completed, because we have too many ethnic groups to sort of factor in how we are going to divide it. We should read the Arrow Confederation and find the truth that statism has done to us. Oh, I am lost. I am happy for the last the conversation can have before Biafra being shoved down our throats. Yes, Odira is come today. I love your version of him. Go wear bucket hat. Things. Yeah. Praise, you want to come live? Not go live. I don't have 1,000 followers. So luckily for me, they managed to let me do it.
Odera,
How are you?
good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. How are you? How are you doing?
I don't know why I can't hear you no more. Hello?
Can you hear me?
But your voice is very low. Let
My
me
voice
go
is
off and
low.
come back, please.
Can others hear me? Because somebody has complained about my audio before. I don't know. Some people can hear me, some people can't. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? So yeah, I want to see what praise God. I want to see what your thoughts are in terms of this constitutional change. What your thoughts are. Can you hear me
Hello,
now?
sir.
Can you hear me?
The audio is still very low, but let me just say what I wanted to say.
Okay.
The idea of regionalism, the government, this present government is not doing us any good. I don't think it's something any individual or group of persons should be rejoicing, throwing parties and celebrating about. It is not any good to us, right? I think they see it from my own
What is
device,
not
so
good to
maybe.
us? What is not
So
good to us?
there should be no celebration about it because this is something that has been in existence before their madness kicked in when they took out Agi Ironsi and then the program started and then the idea that the Igbo military officers took caused the coup and the blah 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 that led to the Nigerian Civil War of 1967 and what have not and what have not. Actually, what I wrote on the comment section in recent time, I've been doing a lot of studies on Igbo history, about the Igbo nation, and I discovered that there is something which the creation of states did to us. This state, that state, those states, what it did to us is far more than what words can actually tell. And one of that is that a lot of persons have lost their identity of where they are from and who they are because they were captured in a particular state, and by the obtainability of that capture, they have to, go with what is obtainable in that state. I'll cite an example.
We
When you
cannot
look
hear
at
you.
River State, can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, River State seem to
When
be
you look
where
at
the
River
issue is.
State, for example, there's a
Yes.
place they call Indoki in River State. It shares a common boundary with Asa local government area of Abia State. 93% of everything which an Indoki man speaks, he speaks the Ngwa native tongue. He speaks the Ngwa native tongue. But when you ask him, Indoki man, where are you from? He will say he's from River State. That is one. In Ebema local government area, there's an Ebema that is in River State and there's another that is in Imo State. The guys in River State, part of Ebema, speaks 100% Uguta related Igbo. That's the I've forgotten what they call it.
Imo State, right?
This Oru part of the Imo State axis, their mother tongue on Igbo. That is what they speak. And they are in River State. And they will tell you, we are not Igbo, we are River State. Ikwere, which I am in their community, right? Which I am predominantly in their community as I speak to you. They speak 75% Igbo language. And then what we call the Ekpeye tongue attached to it. The Ekpeye tongue constitutes between 12 to 13% of their language. Now, how can you say 75 and 13% and you are measuring on 13%? That is where you are from. You see what was done to us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you look at the Aro Confederacy, you find out that the Aro Confederacy was a conglomerate of villages, communities that were brought together under one sovereign control of the Aro nation. And on that Aro nation, it is subdivided into the 4 cardinal points. You have the north axis, you have the Anambra axis, you have the Imo axis, and then you have the cross-water axis. On the cross-water axis, you have the likes of Old Rivers, which is currently Bayelsa. You have Delta State in it. You have the whole Ibibio clan in it. And what's this name? You have River State in it. Ishiogbo, as a part of River State, which is one of the ancestral home of the Ikwere nation. Ishiogbo is a major member of the Aro nation. As a matter of fact, the founding father of Ishiogbo was one of the men who decided who was to become the Eze-Aro around 753 AD, as history will have it. And then these people will come and say, we are not these people, because states was created. So going back to regional system of government is not nobody is doing us any credit or doing us any favor.
I don't agree with you.
They are just trying to deceive us. According to the Willings Commission, the letter written by the Willings High Commission concerning Nigeria, this very thing that they are doing now is something that they should have done in 2014. But they lied to themselves.
I'm accepting your request. I don't know why it's not working.
Hello? What are you saying? Sorry.
No, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, it's something, according to the letter written by the Willings High Commission, they were supposed to have done this shenanigan that they are trying to put up now in a way to use to campaign for themselves and get cheap emotional support, which will not work. Yes, which will not work for themselves. So basically, that's just it. That's just it. Those of us who are from the Igbo nation, we should not see like they are doing us any good. No. This is something that our forebears fought for, lost their life for. It is a system that has worked for Nigeria and for most nations of the world which were colonized. Yes, I'm not supposed to use the word colonized because that word is gone. But which were colonized by the British, that were colonized by the British. Most of them practice this regional system of government, and it's a very productive system of government. So us going back to it is nobody doing us any good. It's just
I'm confused. We
should not celebrate it, please.
Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Sorry, there I said what?
What I'm gonna say is, what do you propose? What do you propose as a way of unifying Nigeria in this new constitution?
All right. The first thing I propose that should be done is a constitution review, a constitution amendment and review high commission should be set up first. Then the present constitution, the military decree, which is not a constitution, the military decree of 1999, as amended, should be suspended indefinitely, because that document is the document that has been causing the continuous hostility, sabotage that this country is having. Through it, some compromised legal luminaries will come up and give certain adjudications, certain pronouncements, which is contrary to the spirit and the letter of what the society should be like. So the first thing I think should be done is a high commission for constitution redraft, review, and amendment should be set up. Two, the constitution should be suspended
So praise.
We should set up.
That's
Yes.
what we have done. So they are doing the review now, and that gave birth to what is going on.
The way they are doing this review will not get the results.
Son, I'm adding you.
It will not get the result. This particular system of review will only end up in further compromise.
When you say compromise, what do you mean?
Those who have interest. Sorry, there. What did you say? Sorry. I think my network is bad.
When you say compromise, what do you mean?
Now, those in the seat of government that has interest, that has conflicting interest, will want to subtly capture that interest in that amendment that they are doing. For example, I'll cite an example on the fiscal policy of Nigeria, which has already been done. It was done partly by the assembly led by, what's this guy's name? Before Akpabio came in on board, the Senate, led by this man that contested for primaries.
Sariki?
Why am I forgetting his name?
Is it Sariki?
No, not Saraki. The immediate past Senate president. The immediate past.
I have forgotten his name. Yeah, from the north. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So let's go on that. They've finalized on that particular one, and that finalizing makes the north to have advantage over the south, because according to them, let me cite an example. You put VAT on alcohol. Yes, Wike has taken this one to court and challenged it and won. You put VAT on alcohol. We all know that is in the south that they consume alcohol more and they smoke cigarettes more within the south than the north. Now you put VAT on cigarette and alcohol at 4%. And then in that VAT, you created the sharing formula in such a way that the same VAT which a particular part of the divide of the country pays more, you are now creating it in such a way that you are sharing it equally amongst yourself. It's just like you don't eat rats.
Yeah, but do you understand how this new structure wants to work? So this new one, in this new construct, when they restructure it according to regions, the regions will work with their resources and look after themselves, education, hospitals, stuff like that, healthcare and all the rest. And then they will pay money to the central. So it doesn't matter whether there is no sharing formula again about, the South.
Now the question I'll ask you, which constitution will they use for this regionalism?
That is what I'm saying, that they've already set up a constitutional review panel. They've done the consultations on those, and then they came to the crossroad, or they came to realize that the major issue with the constitution is that the constitution was not done by the people. And that means they have to start consulting on, okay, first of all, let's go back to the people. How do you guys want to be relating with each other? So that's what is giving rise to this particular consultation that they are doing now. Do you understand? Do you understand? So it's like they're already seeing that the main issue is unity. And for people to feel like they are united, they need to have a say in how the constitution come back. So they now went and did consultation of, first of all, should we be one country? And if we're one country, how do we want that one country to be? So they're now saying that the best thing is region. And in that region, nobody is sharing money again from the federal. The state, not the state, the regions will produce for themselves and pay money instead to the central. Do you understand it?
All right. I'll go. I don't know why my phone is acting up today, and it's really frustrating me in
Just restart
this
your
conversation
phone and make sure you've
because I
updated.
have to put the phone direct on my ears to be able to hear what you are saying.
Okay.
But from the
Restart your
lots
phone.
you said, I'll tell you to go back and check the various commissions that was created. Example, the Southeast Commission, the Northeast Commission, South Commission that was created by the present administration. Look at it and then look at the Herculean monster that was created out of that thing. And then you will find out that what I am telling you will also happen to this thing, that the structure of this, their so-called regionalism. What will happen to it would be very glaring, just like I have said. And what did I say? If they do not suspend the constitution in its entirety, if they do not suspend the constitution in its entirety, move us from presidential system of government entirely to the regional system of government, before you start saying all these things, we go see hit that water for front.
Okay, praise. I think he did not understand the whole thing. So you cannot change from states to regions without constitution change. So for regions to come into effect, once the president signs it into law, that means we are going to have a new constitution. So a new constitution has been going on. The constitution review team has been set up. And this guy, the deputy speaker, Benjamin Kalu from Abia State, is also part of them. So I think they've done their consultations and
just
everything.
Just imagine Benjamin Kalu. Just imagine.
Hold on. I'm not talking about the credibility of the guy. I'm only telling you one of the people that have come out to say people should, consult, and, they did consultation in few hotels and then they had to stop. And I think they found out that the fundamental problem with Nigeria is actually the actual document, the constitution itself. But for them to change that, they have to do this consultation. We have a proposal, which is this document coming from this consultation of these regions. Then when we are signing into law and creating our own Nigeria People's Constitution and not what the military is giving to us, then they can do away with that 1999 Constitution. Do you understand? There is no way they are going to have regional government and put it in that 1999 Constitution. There has to be a brand new Constitution. Do you understand?
Now the question is, there is no system of government that can suffice in any nation of the world without a body of law that would drive it first. That is where you're not getting it. There must be a document, a body of law that would drive that system of government to have legitimacy. You cannot just create a regional system of government premised on what law? What law is giving room to that?
So I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say. Let me help you. So in the First Republic, when Nigeria had 3 regional governments, the northern region, western region, and the old eastern region, they were using a constitution. That constitution was completely done away with, and a new constitution of federalism. That time, during the old region, it was the Queen of England that was our head of state. We only had prime ministers. Sean, I keep trying. I don't know why it's not working. So, but then they adopted the presidential system of government. So then, it's not just the prime minister. Now we have a president. When they did that, they have to do that on this constitution that the military quickly put together to achieve that purpose. So it is in that same way, it is in that same manner that they are going to do away with this one and move back again to the regional system of government. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So everybody now accepts that the fact that this particular document that we are using, this so-called document that we are using, Sean, I've invited you. I don't know why you're not accepting. So everybody accepts that it is flawed. And that is what
Mr. Explicit Vibe. You're talking about skepticism. Skepticism is actually a tool when you're doing political analysis. It's a very useful tool. In case you don't know, I'm a political scientist. As someone who is, when I'm speaking, you should know that I'm not talking like a donk, somebody who doesn't
John Lees,
know
I'm adding
what
you,
he's
but it's
saying.
not working.
So
I'm
there, you're
adding you, but
talking
it's not
about,
working.
no, forget about that one. I've addressed it. You're talking about what happened before now. During the time when the British government was still in charge, in 1922, yes, we had the Clifford Constitution. Now that Clifford Constitution sufficed within that period of time. In 1935,
John Lees, do you have a second account?
we
Do you
had
have
the
another account you
Bodleian
can use?
Constitution. The Bodleian Constitution sufficed within that time. When we got to the Richard and the Macpherson Constitution, that was where we now started talking about the regions in Nigeria. That body of law also carries the region. Now, why is it that we kept having this adjustment? It's because when a new system of government is about to be created, you must create a new body of law to drive that system of government. That is what it is. You cannot just create a new system of government and then a committee is working towards creating the body of law that will run the system of government. It's not done like that. It's like building a house
I
from the
want to
seed
understand.
before the
I
foundation.
want to understand what you are saying. Are you saying that they cannot have a brand new constitution that will allow regional government? Are you doubting the process of that?
For them to have that, that means you're not listening to me, Dara. For them to have that, they first need to suspend the current
They
decree
will when
that
it
they
is
have, that
ready now. They
1999
will
decree.
when it is
Oh my
ready.
God.
It is not ready yet. They are not.
Dara, I'll join you later. I'll join you later, please. I'm outside.
Okay, Sean Lee is here. So what I think what he's trying to say, Sean, is that he wants the existing constitution to be scrapped so that we can have a new one. So but I'm letting him know that we are still in the consultation phase. It's not been signed into law. So Nigerians have not unanimously agreed to sort of adopt this regional government yet. We are still in the beginner stages. Go ahead.
So, here's my thoughts on your topic. I don't think, personally, let me wind up. I don't think personally regional form of government is going to do any good to Nigeria, and I will explain the reason why for you. It's when I hear us having this conversation, it's actually premeditates and shows the reason why we are in where we are, because we have a very regressive way of thinking as Nigerians. All the countries are moving forward in terms of constitution, in terms of way of governance. We are looking back at what happened in 1960. The UK that you are, at the time that Nigeria was practicing the constitution left to us by UK, the UK has the same, you might not know this, they have the same right to bear arms. America.
Cannot hear you again. I think because you are driving, your network is not stable.
Yeah. If you can't hear me, just let me know.
Yeah. I can hear you now. You're back now. Yeah.
Forest, so it might drop. The point I'm trying to make is, at the time that we were practicing regional form of government, the world has not moved to where we are at the moment. Now, let's look at a Nigerian point of view. People are shouting regionalism. Okay. How are you going to integrate a couple of tribes that don't want to be with each other? Because we've tried that before, and that's how we got Nigeria, and that's how we had Biafra war. Don't let us forget about that. Ikwere people will tell you they are not Igbo. Deltas will tell you that they are not Igbo. If there is a friend of ours here that you know, Master of Coins. His uncle was the ex-governor. If you want to abuse Master of Coin today, just call him Igbo, and you will see the other side of him. So how are you going to, when we start doing regional government, are we going to end up forcing people that don't want to be part of Enclam? Or are you going to tell Edo people that they are now part of Southeast? How are you dividing it? Now, the reason why I make my first statement that we have a very regressive form of thinking, because we always look back. My grandfather said in 1970, every Western country, what they are doing is they are enabling and galvanizing the states within their sovereign country to be as powerful, as independent as they can be. I'll give you an example. The America I am at the moment now, there's, what's it called? Oregon, Washington State, California, they all form the Pacific Northwest. The money that Seattle and Washington State are generating to the coffers of the federal government of America is not the same money that Oregon is bringing in. It's not the same money that California is bringing in. California has like Silicon Valley and all that. Washington State, Microsoft headquarters, they here. Starbucks headquarters, they here. You know, so they are pushing X states, and even the UK. You are. What is what's Andy Boham, the new prime minister, saying? Devolution of power. They are moving power away from London to Manchester. I heard he said he's going to have his office in Manchester because businesses like to stay next to power. If each state can generate money and can improve the life of people within their states, and they can even generate their own internal revenue, all this conversation you are having is regionalism. It won't even make any sense, because the regionalism we are talking about a country that we are deeply disunited. Everybody knows that. I'm not here to preach unity. It is what it is. It's Nigeria. There is disunity in that country, and now you're going to now force now your Egun people. You go force with Yoruba people. Egun people we say they are from Benin Republic, and they only live in Badagry. You will now force them with Yoruba people, and then when Yoruba regional governor or premier or whatever they want to call themselves, when he's only doing social amenities projects for Yoruba, they will say, Shebi will tell you, he's not part of us. Or is he Ikwere and the Igbos? Or all the other tribes. So it's like, we are not just talking about 3 or 4 united tribes that, these tribes, they can look after themselves. Nigeria is a country made up of so many tribes. And a lot of tribes don't even agree with the major tribes in the country. So it's going to end up turning into tribal internal war again. I don't agree with it. I believe the format should be every state should be empowered to bring investments into their own states. And that way, the states can generate their own internal revenue. The lives of people within that state can change. Because the way people run to Lagos to look for a job now, it would be nice if Enugu is like Lagos. If the governor is doing very well, or Anambra, and people can say, Netflix is in Lagos, it's in Anambra, this is like, I want to go and work there. But we don't have that. We are now talking about regionalism that was practiced in the 1970s, that even the Oyibo people that gave us that format, they have moved away from it. But we are looking back at it. So I don't.
How do you know that we've moved away from it? Because there is still regional government here in the UK.
No, there's no regional government in the UK, my lord. There is no regional.
Are you saying that Wales are not controlling themselves, Ireland are not controlling themselves, Scotland are not controlling themselves?
Bro, Wales has been a country. So is Scotland. Go and read the history of the UK. As a matter of fact, England is the only country that was divided. You have the Kingdom of York, the Kingdom of Mercia, Northumbria. That's why it's called United Kingdom. Wales has always been a country. There is no two kingdoms. The language, the Welsh language, if you go to Wales, that language that they speak.
Yeah, so that's the same way. That's the same way you have the Yoruba nation, the Igbo nation that was amalgamated.
Wait, because again you are doing this your semantics that you do. Let me school you about Wales. If you go from north of Wales to the south of Wales to the island of Wales, their language is the same. There is no even accent. Their language is exactly the same. Scotland is the same. They speak Gaelic. From the Highlands to Scotland, that's their language. You cannot compare that to like someone in Delta. That one part say they are Igbo. Now Igbo, I mean, I hear with your former guest that was saying that the Ikwere, that their forefathers was from Aro or something like that. Like, but we cannot disenfranchise the fact that there is a large number of Ikwere people that do not identify as Igbo. In fact, there was a guy I sent over to some of my friends. I don't know if I sent it to X. I sent it to Zeus. That apparently is one of these professors in Rivers. That said that their culture got nothing to do with Igbo. Are you going to force that kind of people and say like, no, you know what, you still have to stay, you are in the southeast? It does not make sense. So, if you are coming back to say like the Oyibo people are still doing it, no, they are not. Because the UK that you are, I don't know of any northwest government. I don't know of a southeast government. Every city, every state in the UK is trying to build itself up. Manchester is trying to generate its revenue. London is trying to generate its revenue. Yes, you are partly right. They might say a lot of money is going to London. Some of the money can come to Manchester, but there is nothing like a regional. It's just each city is trying to build itself up to become a self-sufficient city. That's what they are doing.
So Sean, thank God that you have a good understanding of both countries. So let me give you an example with what is it called? Cornwall, right? You know Cornwall, right? You know Cornwall is okay, yes. But you know Cornwall is actually Cornish, yeah? They believe like they are the Cornish people. They don't believe that they are the English people. So that is just in England. Now you have Wales. I don't know so much about how diversified they are in Welsh there, but I know they will tell you. Let me not just go into the intricacies. But what I'm trying to say is that Nigeria is similar to that, and that's why they left us with that government of region, in the sense that Igbos are, let's say, major tribe is Igbo, but also have little minorities like the Cornish in England.
And chime in.
Eh?
Can I chime in real quick? I'm at work.
Yeah, I just want to land the point, and I will give you audience. And then you have Welsh, which is like a country, and also part of that. But the point I'm just trying to make out is that these people still control the education, the healthcare, and so forth, and have their own. In some aspects, people in Scotland have their own money, but they can also accept the British English pounds. So why can't we go back to that system? And for you, in the attempt to address what you just raised, which is the Ikwere people refusing, or some people from Delta refusing to be Igbo, they are giving it as a consultation. How do you guys want to merge? How do you guys want to, that's why I said to you, what used to be 3 is now producing 17. So 17 people are saying, okay, we want to identify as a region. And Nigeria is trying to learn lessons because, number one, they don't try this thing for like 60-something, 70-something years now. It's not working. Everybody agree that what we presently have, constituting Nigeria, is not working. So what they're trying to do is to say, okay, let's borrow a leaf. Let's borrow a leaf from, say, Yugoslavia or from the former Russian, whatever. How they divided and they managed to stay, in their little enclaves and whatever, and say, okay, let us have our own for now as regions. So if after dividing all these things, which will now be down to the people and not military coming up with a piece of document to shove it down to the people's throat, and then they will now say, okay, at least we are consulted, at least we come up with this. Will that eradicate all sorts of struggles or people feeling marginalized? No. But that will give a lot of people more sense, because if you allow a people to identify ethnic line, there is no somebody thinking, oh, I've not been marginalized because I've not produced a president, because then that is you controlling your own sector. So I think
I beg that place where you did, and I won't pick up your point. I'm not gonna lie, give you. I agree with everything you have been saying. Now, the point that Sean made is very salient, but when Sean says we should not look back to the past, right? Sometimes they used to say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So part of the things that we did in trying to fix our system is, just like you said, having so many tribes under one umbrella, like, is a recipe for disaster. You know, when people always think that, oh, if you are from different races, diversity is our strength. I always say it on my life, diversity is not our strength. There's always strength in collectivism of people who have shared ideas, shared roots. You understand? So that being said, right, if the regional stuff will work, just like you have explained it, based on the people's own input, that is why I want to disagree with Sean on this one. Based on the people's own input, then you now know that it is the people's mandate that this is what they are asking for. So it's different from them taking a new constitution and shoving it down their throat, just like the military one. So just like I've been saying, all the reason why I agree with you is I'm looking at it from the standpoint of the fact that they are letting the Nigerian people and their representatives get involved in the process. And if this is what they want, at least we know it is not being forced or being coerced. It is what they want to practice, and they're going to deliberate upon it. Now, if at the end of the day it fails, it's not guaranteed it's going to work, right? If at the end of the day it fails, most of the things that Sean identified, if those things creep up, then I believe that if they are going to create that constitution, they should have foresight to put some kind of remedy in this constitution that will allow for, the possibility of readdressing the matter. Unlike this 1999 constitution now, they didn't put a secession clause. It's one of the things that became like I would like to say, roadblock to, separating or seeking independence. But I think, just like you said, learning from the mistakes of the past, if they can come together, and if this regional stuff is what they all really say that they are clamoring for, they should put a clause in there that will allow for a review down the line if there is some issues that with the system that they want to practice. Now, lastly, with the Ikwores, Igbos, Egbas, all these people, it is bound to always happen, right? Especially when you have so much diversity. But I think that whenever a society is progressing and you are seeing much success in the development of those people, you have less issues, right, when it comes to people identifying with a certain ethnicity. Because one thing that really happens is this: let's not lie to each other, right? If everybody is doing well, nobody will remember that all the is from this place. That's the honest truth. But most of the things that is causing these people's division is because they're in a position where they have to fight or flight. And the easiest thing to do is to band with somebody of common shared ethnicity, right, to make that fight or to make that flight. So I think if that regional thing will work and you can see success within the region, most people that will talk about being marginalized, they will have no leg to stand on, because then you ask yourself this question: are you seeing prosperity? Is there good schools? Is there good infrastructure? Are we doing well? So if you are clamoring for some kind of issue that I need representation, right, that is something that can be easily dismissed, because then we know that you are a troublemaker trying to stir up the pot. You understand?
But, but
250 ethnic group. Everybody cannot be asking for representation. It's not possible.
there is
Everybody can be represented, no matter how you look at it. So I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of the fact that, number one, there are set up a committee to let the people get involved to make their own decisions on what they want for their future. Number two, if it works, then definitely we say, okay, yes, we've done something good, and they should put a clause that in case it doesn't work, they can revisit it. That's my own point.
Thank you so much, X. Sean, I have a question for both of you, since you said you are now in America. I know when Nigeria switched to presidency and creating state, it was to answer the whole civil war issue. And they tried to make sure that clause is not there, so that there will be no way for anybody to pull up. Now, the question I want to ask you is, both of you that is in America, Nigeria tried to imitate, so they moved away from the UK style of government and went to American style of government. Now, do you think that the way we are presently constituted in Nigeria, practicing the presidency, that it is the way America is doing it? Because I did like your point when you are saying about Seattle having the headquarters of big companies like that. Is that because I've not been to America, but don't they have the same? Don't they have? I believe they have their own powers, like their own autonomy to do some certain things for their own states. So is that really the same way Nigeria practices state? Because in Nigeria, more or less, you are doing what the federal wants.
Yes. Okay,
I need answer from both of you.
Let me explain the last point you made, and I will answer your question. Now, X, the problem I have with Odora's thesis or analogy is this: there is no country in the world where regionalism has brought equity, fairness, and better government. We try looking at, because Nigerians, what we try to do is like, We always look for the next best option. Don't forget that the regionalism that the British people left for us was being practiced when Aguiyi took over power. Because of what? He believed that the regional leaders were being corrupt. Okay? Corruption is our problem. If you like, go and bring Chinese model, mix it with Korea. If after you finish with Korea, sprinkle a little bit of North Korea on top of it. As long as the Nigerianness in knows that politics is a career job, and you keep putting people who have no inclination, they don't understand how the world works, we will still continue to have this problem. Now, the issue I have with Odera example is, when Odera is giving an example and you are using UK as an example, it is a surface level comparison that you are doing. The UK and Nigeria has nothing in common. I will give you an example of country that have something in common with Nigeria. Russia.
No, Russia is it communist?
Calm down. Russia is not communist, it's democracy, but calm down. Calm down. I'm getting somewhere. Russia has Abkhazia. They have Dagestan. They have some area of Tajikistan. They have some parts in Russia that people there looks like Chinese. These people keep their own language. They have their own autonomy federation, but they all submit. Their leaders have to submit to the president of Russia. So you can still do your own thing within your area, but if the president of Russia say your area, we need 20% tax from you, like all your revenue, you have to bring it to Russia, to Moscow. And none of those regions is ever clamoring to become president, because it will never happen. White Russians will not let ethnic Tbilisi or Tajikistan or whatever to become their president. Now, if we bring it back to the UK that you are talking about, go and look at the history of UK. How many Scottish and Welsh people have become prime minister in the UK? The only one of recent is Gordon Brown with Scotland. Wales, I can't even remember. I don't even think Wales have ever had a prime minister. So if the problem I'm having with your thesis is that if you guys start looking at regionalism as the leeway to something that is going to create what's it called, fair ground for everybody, that the people who are asking for representation and they feel marginalized, it's not going to be the answer. And X said it well. You cannot have a country of 250 tribes and you believe that all 200, there's only one position. There's only,
I will say I agree with you, but at the same time, this is not just my words. I'm listening to people who are extremely educated. These people who are having these conversations on YouTube are doing this consultation.
YouTube education, please.
No, hold on. This guy that was giving this presentation said he was ambassador of Nigeria to Switzerland and he lived in the UK and America and everything. And he said that regions did work. I'm not talking about corruption-wise now. I'm talking about physical, economic. They did work then. They were bringing in money then. The Yorubas had cocoa. The Igbos had coal and all of that. The North had onions and all of that. So that is the standpoint of where they are coming from. Because one of our biggest problem right now, I'm going to land. Yes, we have a unity problem. But like you said, Sean, give me 1 second. Sean, hold on. So
I just pinpoint what you said. As someone who is educated, because I remember when we used to debate, you used to tell me, say you get masters. I didn't expect that phrase you used for you to use it. You cannot say regionalism worked when regionalism was what led to the first coup.
No. Understand where I'm coming from now. Don't worry, X will explain to you. What I'm saying is, hold on. I'm saying economically.
You cannot say something worked when it led to the first coup. The first coup then was a
no, but there is something you said which I said I agree with. You said that the biggest issue we have is corruption, right?
Odera. Let me land. I'll go do like your guy now, madam. Let me land.
Hold on, Sean. Wait. 1 second.
Please now.
Hold on. It's the same point you're going to land. 1 second. This is the thing, right? What the other is talking about is talking about the advantages in terms of when you talk about economic self-sufficiency and competition, right? And through fiscal federalism. What you are talking about is the tyranny of the majority, a weak center, right? And it could be a path to another civil war. So both of you are looking at it. So Odera is looking at the advantages that we had during the regional system. You are looking at the disadvantages and the issues of a regional system, which did lead to a war. So what you are saying is, you are saying that the potential of another path to a civil war is more likely, right, than, us agreeing as a people, because we have so many differences, right, and just stick to the economical advantages that we have.
And it's even deeper than that, because this is the point I'm trying to make before Odera interjected me. We got independence in 1960. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Aguiyi Ironsi became president in either 1966 or 67. Am I right?
Yeah.
I believe it's in the 66. So 6 years from when we got our independence to practicing what the British left us, there was a general that came up and said, and to be honest, it wasn't only him. There was a lot of people within Dakar that believed that the premiers of both the North, South, West, or whatever, the system we're practicing, people are too corrupt. And they took it out. We can't call that an achievement. That's 6 years. 6 years, okay? Now, what's it called? Dismantling of the regional form of government was a predecessor of what led to the Civil War. So if we want to trace everything back, we will say it was the time we changed, that obviously we changed from moving from regionalism to a more federal type of government, is when all this problem happened. Now, here's the thing that everybody knows. Whether we like it or not, Nigeria, there is corruption from politician to an average Nigerian. Even you wait there here now, I'm sure if you want to do a project in Nigeria, let's say you want to build a house or you want to build a factory, as someone who go school, you have to allocate some money to some, say, people will go rip you up. It doesn't matter whether na person where you know, they go rip you up, or people will go give you substandard. There is that corruption in us. So until you take that away, any form of government you are practicing, if you like, that's why I always say to all these MOP people, if you like, go and bring socialism. Say, everybody, we are working for the state. The person you put at the head of the state, how sure are you that that person is not corrupt when it comes to Nigerian point of view?
Okay, Sean, I've heard you, and I want you to also give me audience. Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
So, thank you, X, for explaining before. Now, what we have is multiplicity of issues in Nigeria, which is why it is so cumbersome. It's so difficult to solve. So why not we try tackling things bit by bit? So what I'm saying is that, yes, the regional didn't work then. And also, yes, the state is not working now. Because even the presidential system is still not working. And the main problem is the constitution. So when we say the British colonized so many countries in the world. Australia, New Zealand, even America that you're talking about, is still the British people that went over there. Canada, all these people were all colonized by the same colonial masters. So it has not, even Ghana. Now, if you say it's religion, Ghana has northern Muslims, Christian, southern Christians. So it has nothing to do with them. So it is us, like you said. When you say corruption, there's corruption everywhere. So the main big issue is patriotism, which is based on unity. Which is why I said, if we can solve this issue, of unity, and people have a constitution that they feel like they are the ones that created, it may as well start, because what we have in Nigeria is like, chop I chop. It is my turn to chop. I have to go and shop. But if we see it as, okay, it's our country, let us help our country, then everybody feels like patriotic. Everybody wants to help build it and not to help destroy it. And one good thing you have to say about the regions then was that they were given to the central. So instead of people over-relying on the central, they will actually be giving to the central and developing their states. And if there is even any fraction or any conflict in that particular region, and not just overflowing or growing to a full-blown civil war like he had then. Because why he sort of blew into a full-blown civil war was because it was just 3. Now, if you have 17, let's say, for example, I'm not sure if they're going to go with the whole 17, but let's say they go with the whole 17, it might not get escalated to that. But this is where I'm coming at. I am liking this one because it solves two issues. Number one, unity. Number two, economy. A hungry man is an angry man. The same with a hungry country. If a country is poor, and I hear people saying, including my principal, people be saying that Nigeria is a rich country. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I don't believe that Nigeria is a rich country. I believe that Nigeria is a rich in mineral resource, but Nigeria is actually a poor country. The minute you leave Nigeria and land in UK, you will know you are a rich man. Because from that point that you're in the airport, you will have steady light. In Nigeria, you need to have a lot of money for you to have that. The minute you land in the UK, you will have top-notch security, 24/7. That's even a rich person in Nigeria cannot afford. The minute you land in the UK, you will have the best healthcare, free of charge. So somebody that doesn't have shishi, that just landed in UK today, is richer than an average rich man in Nigeria. That is where I look at it. And in UK here, let's use nurses for example. A nurse will use glove once, you will throw it and say it's disposable. In Nigeria, you want to go to hospital. I have people that just gave birth in Nigeria. They will be telling you they are paying 1.something million just to give birth. I said to them, even when we gave birth, that means they just had a baby. They were even giving us food in the hospital free of charge. Yet they were giving us gifts. So Nigeria is a poor country, and that is why that poverty mentality is why they keep stealing from each other. So economy is at the center. So when you hear people be saying, sorry, I'm bringing people up many times, just ignore me. He's saying production, because if you create wealth, and like X said, if everybody is rich, nobody cares about who is in power. Nobody cares. I don't even know who the PM is. And they say it's Andy, whatever. As far as I know that if I work, they pay me. Nobody cares about what. That's why I don't get interested in UK politics. Because everything is working. I keep saying even a young child can even be the governor or the prime minister of UK. Any small person can run America because there are systems. But what we have in Nigeria is that human beings are bigger than the systems, of which in one of the recently conducted interviews of the presidential candidates, Peter Obi said, you cannot, it's because the government is allowing people to be bigger than the systems. Ideally, nobody should be bigger than the government. So what am I trying to get at? If we create this regional government, it will first of all force people to say, okay, that mentality of sharing money, giving subsidy money, trillions to governors will die down. Oh yeah, go to your state and start making money from your state. Some states might go and overtax their people, like we know government do with their IGR. But also some states can go and start looking at, okay, what can we harness in terms of minerals? Since all the money comes to us, probably just give like 20% to the federal. They can start developing. Once there is enough money in Nigeria, like before, when Naira used to be equal to pounds, or when we used to dash money to the British, that will actually erase what most of these our fracas. Because, like Okonjo-Iweala said, when you give a family of 5 one loaf of bread, and you give a family of 2 one loaf of bread, you will see the family of 5 will struggle with sharing, which is what is happening in Nigeria. Over-reliance on oil. When there are so many things, so many minerals, and actually in this consultation of this regional distance, a lot of people have to say how they will economically survive their regions. So they are giving examples of minerals that are in their regions that they can harness to be able to run that region. So I want you to look at it not from a pessimistic point of view, but also to look at it from it is possible because it's worked before, and we now have learned the hard lessons of the past. We know what we have been through as a country. Nobody wants to tread that path again. Not the military, not whatever. Do you understand? So this is why I am supporting. And I hear you, Sean, that we are corrupt. And yes, we are corrupt. Now, no system of government can remove corruption. But even in this, our president 2026, there are some governors that are doing well. You have the Alex Oti, you have the Peter Mbah of Enugu, and then a few governors from the north. Even Lagos is doing well. Now, there will also be people that are stupid. But again, those people can look at how the people that are doing well, like Oshun, that just won his governorship election because he was working for the people. They will see, okay, if I do well, my region will vote for me, or my region will keep bringing me out. So I think I think that's the only way you can solve corruption. There is no other way you can solve corruption.
Odera, let me quickly correct a notion that you just make. Okay, because I intentionally listened to you carefully without interrupting you. You mentioned that regionalism worked when naira was 1 to $1. No, that was not what happened. The amount of money Nigeria had at the time, the population it had. Let me break your bubble. Do you know under this Tinubu administration, I posted it on my Instagram because I had to verify it first to check. Nigeria internal revenue went up the highest it has been for a generation, not even decade, for a generation. A generation is 100 years, almost 100 years, because a generation, one generation. That means what we are seeing as internal revenue in Nigeria is the highest it has been for a generation. So we're probably going back to even before the colonial period. But you know what? We cannot feel, an average Nigerian cannot feel the impact of it because we are almost 250 million or 230 million people. I broke it down on, I don't know if it was Belinda or Bongoli's live once. This thing is just common sense, it's not rocket science. American population is almost 350. And on top of that, America is a continent, it's not even a country. I don't like to call it a country, it's a continent. Flipping massive country. They are telling you that, people are too much. We don't want immigrants. The UK, that is an island, same thing is happening there.
But Sean, don't you think that this regional system will solve this problem you are mentioning?
No,
because hold on, let me give you my thought process. Because apparently during that time, right, 50% of the whatever is the revenue generated by the region is kept locally. 50% of it is kept locally to the region, and they give the other to the federal, right? It will reduce tax burden on the citizens of that region. That's another thing. And whatever resources they have produced, generated within that region, right, is what they will use to self-govern. So now, guess what? If you split everybody, we're not all sharing from the same pot anymore. Everybody's now producing their own stuff. So you've reduced the number of people that are dependent on the resources within that region. So now you're not depending on another state to generate and send money for another state, like robbing Peter to pay Paul. You understand? Because now everybody will have to look inwards, internally, to see what they have to generate their own revenue to self-sustain. So now you cannot point the finger at another person and say, the reason why Nigeria is afloat today is because of the oil in Niger Delta, or it's because of this. Because now everybody has their own self-sustenance to go on, whereby whatever they produce, they generate, they need to self-govern. And they're now governing a fewer number of people as opposed to governing the entire nation. So it will reduce that burden. So now, if you say 250 million people shared across 17 regions, you slash that number greatly, right? It will now force those regions to actually work. Because guess what? States right now, they know that they can afford to not do anything and keep receiving from the federal government. And that's why a lot of people are saying our states are not producing. They're not doing anything. But now, if you are now the one that has to give back to the federal government, you have to produce something. And now those people cannot now say, let's point to Tinubu or let's point to Peter Obi or point to this person. No, now they are going to have to deal with the people they elect in their own region. Yes. So I think that's a good idea, right? But the point you are making about, the fragility of the regional system, because of the fact that within 6 years it collapsed. And that goes back into human nature, the greed and corruption. So if Sean is saying that greed and corruption has not been tackled, which is not something any government can solve. You can't solve somebody's internal greed, right? But the way you can reduce and limit those excesses is when you force people, right, to work within their own circles.
You can use strong systems. Sorry for butting you in, but you can use strong systems to sort of make sure that corruption is not something, because the federal will have limited powers, but they can have superior powers and more focused. So say, for example, in America, you have the FBI, you have, people that can come down heavily and investigate you. So you can give additional powers to EFCC, make sure that they are more transparent and make sure they can actually investigate any region. and then there will be consequences. So if the system is stronger than the people, then people will have more deterrent. They will not be doing corruption anyhow. Because whether we like it or not, the reason why people are doing corruption is because they're getting away with it. And this whole, if you come to our party, you are forgiven. It's not even helping matters. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with you. See, the thing is, I'm trying to be positive, right? Because I always say something, right? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and not getting any result, right? We've been practicing democracy for the longest. I'm sure all of us were born into this democracy. And the same complaints that the people of the past, when you listen to their words, their rally cries, their music, it's the same thing we're still singing today. So if we had 6 years of economic success under a regional system, imagine how much success we would have made if we held the center stable and we practice it up till now, right? So you know how they say two things can be wrong at the same time, two things can be right at the same time. I'm not trying to dismiss Sean's point. Sean's point is very valid. But what I'm trying to say is those who are going to plan for this regional system, they have to take Sean's point into account, right, in their planning to say, okay, these were the shortfalls, right, that happened during that time. How are we going to work towards making sure that we can avoid a repeat occurrence? But all I'm just saying is this: having over 265 ethnic group is not a sustainable system for one center to hold, right? So when you are going to regionalize people, you put people that have a lot of things in common. Commonality will hold them together. Now, there'll be a lot more patriotism towards the nation because you are feeling like, okay, I'm a part of this nation within this region, right? That's the way I look at it. So I don't see it as something that we should throw into the basket and not consider. I see it as something we should consider because understanding that what we have today is not working, right? It's not working. What we have today is not working. That's my point.
It's not working. And thank you, X. You rightly understood their thinking as well, because I think as government people or people in power, these are the kind of conversations they're going to be having. These are the kind of thoughts they will be trying to iron out. Okay, how best do we do this? They've literally tried everything. Tinubu has given so much money to the governors that if actually money can solve Nigerians' problem, it should have solved it. Now, a few governors are doing well, and even the few governors that are doing well there don't even have a lot of money. But yet, it's like the problem is so, as in, ambiguous and complicated. Because hold on, Sean.
Okay.
Because they are feeling like, you know, for example, let's use this Bini or the road. Dave Umahi went there. What was Dave Umahi saying? He was saying it is PPP. Keneko. The companies that did it is AFC Sugar and the rest. See, they did 60% and they closed and went away. Because those people don't care about the road. Those people probably don't care. One government leaves, and I beg, the government don't go. They don't go. So why we need this feeling of patriotism and unity is that people will feel like, okay, this is our region. This is our money. This is our land. Do you understand? Before somebody from South will feel among, already they even have animosity with Igbos, not to talk of people from the middle. I don't know how to explain it. It's like the hierarchy is so long and far away that before somebody have that sense of belonging,
Odera, please let me just have this few. I will listen to you from the from the comment section. X, the point you are not understanding is this: if you are listening to Odera carefully, Odera seems to believe that regionalism. Sorry, make I get the English right. Regionalism is going to bring inclusivity. And it doesn't happen like that. Okay? The best places that regionalism has been practiced, okay, it comes from a specific tribe knowing like, okay, you know what? We have our own person that is governing us, but whatever happened between that person and the supreme leader or the ultimate leader is got nothing to do with us. India, that has a lot of ethnicity in their country, there are million, well, don't let me say million, there are at least tens of tribes in India that they will never taste government. They have their own local whatever, but that prime minister, they will never taste it because they have a caste system in India. I don't know if you know that. The darker you are, the less unworthy you are in India. They have a caste system in India. They have their own state governor, The money go to them, they do whatever. Their state might be beautiful, but in terms of say you want to become prime minister, it will never happen. Do we have that kind of mentality in Nigeria? Well, you mentioned America earlier on. The America that you are mentioning in the Pacific Northwest, at least Idaho is sometimes some side of it is class of it. Idaho is not a rich state. I've been there before. It's a very poor state. But people can move from Idaho, X and be born in Idaho now and say you want to come and look for a job in California. Nobody, Meta will not tell him like, oh, so you are from Idaho, are you Igbira or are you Inquere? Oh, I need to look at you one way. They don't have that because these are people that want to work together. We don't have that in Nigeria. Nigeria is a country that includes people that don't want to be together. They were forced together. And this is my last point. I hate when
you've not answered the question of is compare Nigerians presidential system to American's presidential system, because I believe America has some level of autonomy in those 50 states. Their governors can do some certain things themselves.
Yes,
and then give money to the federal.
And so can their president. That's why I gave you the example. The one that really will mirror what we want to do in Nigeria is Russia.
No, you're not getting my point. I said to you, what we presently have as a presidential system of government, even in America they are trying to adopt, they did not adopt it properly. So American states have autonomy in terms of their laws, they control some aspects, and then they give to the federal.
The answer is very simple. We are running a parallel system of government in America. We have the exact same system. The only difference is that our politicians are not, using the system the way it's supposed to be.
So are you saying in America that you go to the center to collect money?
I don't take my cup. This is the last point I want to make. I beg for the people watching. When we are in abroad, and otherwise you that I'm directing this to, when we are always saying like, in the UK the system is working. Let me ask you a question. Go to the length and breadth of UK. Go to where there is a large majority of Black African people. Why is the system not working there? Peckham in London, the UK government has to step in to gentrify it. It was the headquarters of crime and everything. If you come to Manchester, go to Moorside. Go to, where's this place where all our Nigerian people, they live? Mosling. Go to Mosling. There was one friend of ours that came to greet me when I took him to Mosling. But in Yoruba, they actually asked me that, are we still in the UK? Now, America, where they asked me, say, Sean, are you sure we're still in the UK? So when you guys are giving this blanket statement that the way you both structure it, the system is working for them, it's not the people. Why is it that those same people, when they congregate within the sovereign environment of Oyibo people, that system cannot work on them? That's where I want to do.
Son, I get your point, but before
please, you guys have not answered my question. You said Nigeria is running a parallel system. So I'm asking, do American governors do they have a fact that they share money from the central, or do they make their own money and then give to the federal government?
Hold on, let me ask you, what do you think Trump is using to threaten states when he says he's going to cut federal funding to them?
No, I'm asking. I've not been to America. That's what I'm asking.
I just answered you. We are running a parallel system. We are doing the same thing.
So America is actually selling their oil centrally and then devolving money to the 50 states.
America is generating funds. They have federal allocations that go to each state, right? And states also have autonomy to self-govern and make past state laws, as long as those state laws don't infringe on federal laws. It's as simple as that. Nigeria runs the same. It's just that we don't have people that can put it in place and do it effectively. Lagos State, Abia State, all of those governors, they are chief executive of their states, right? Within those states, they can pass laws within those states. Lagos can pass traffic laws. They can pass laws for identification. They can pass laws for security. They can pass for... It's the same thing.
So you're a very intelligent person, X. I'm asking you, so if you look at American system and look at Nigerian system, you think that they are just mirroring each other, yeah?
Yeah, it's a mirror of each other. You can look it up yourself. But before Sean leaves, I want to quickly address Sean. Sean, I get what you're coming from. Now, I'll give you some points and what I think will be the solution, because I get where you're coming from. First of all, one of the issues that we had with the regional system was because it was under 3 primary ethnic groups, Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, and because they are the majority. But if you notice now, what they have now is not just 3, right? They're not just doing 3. They're breaking it down into 17 regions. So it is going to get down to the minority, right? So instead of having 3 ethnic regions, right, you can use, they are using the 6 existing geopolitical zones, right, to break it down into those regions, right? So that it will, how will I say that? It will break up the monolithic ethnic power blocks, and it will give representation to minority zones. That one is one of the things that they are trying to do. So they're not reverting to the exact same style regional system. This is something that is being thought about, and they're trying to do it in a different way. Remember, I said insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So they are trying to make adjustments to it. Secondly, right, this would have to do with retaining states as the administrative units. So it's not as if they will do away with states. States will still exist, but they will all exist under these geopolitical zones within those regions. But what will those states now do, right? They will be the primary units for local governance, right? So the states will still exist, but they will exist within those regions. And what will those states do, right? They will protect local sub-ethnic identities, right? So that way the minorities will not be swallowed up by the majority within that region. That's another thing they are proposing. Now, when you talk about protection of minorities, that's constitutional protection of minorities, right? Those strict regional rotation laws, if they can do it within those regions, they have a strict regional rotation law that will give also the minority the opportunity to run and to get into position of power within those regions. So it will be okay. We have a few people within our region. We can rotate this thing successfully because remember they have shared ideas, things that are shared amongst themselves. Now, also you talk about the clear devolution of power. Currently, the way we have it, power is accumulated to the center, right? That's why everybody's looking at the center. But once you break it apart, you can devolve power. So what will now happen is this: rather than the federal government being in charge of virtually almost everything, every aspect affairs of the country, the federal government can stick to doing things like, national defense, foreign affairs, things that has to do with citizenship, monetary policies, all those stuff. They will do that one. But the states now can now govern things like policing within their states, electricity generation, education, road construction, all those things can now work within the states. So, and what will now happen is all the states will now do then, right, to keep the federal government sustained, is to send back revenue to the federal government. And that's what Odera was saying, that some money will be sent back to the center. Now, it will not be the center now, doing everything and deciding to the states what they're going to get. Now, the states will be self-running, self-sustaining, policing themselves, working on their own education, their own healthcare, their own whatever. All the federal needs to do now is foreign affairs, things like that. So it will devolve powers across all the regions. So I think the new
Sorry,
proposal.
X, I need you to educate me more about this American system. Now, the powers that the presidents have in Nigeria, the presidency have in Nigeria, right? So when it comes to appointing CBN governor, appointing accountant general, appointing what do you call it, the head of so the chief justice of the federation, appointing. Are you saying that Trump has the same powers in America to appoint the Supreme Court justice and all of that?
So what they do is they nominate these candidates, right? Just like in Nigeria, we nominate candidates for confirmation. Same thing. Trump appoints the Fed chair in America, the governor of the Fed, governor of the Federal Reserves. Same thing in Nigeria. We're nominating our CBN governors, right? It's the same thing.
So, but how come, according to Dino Melaye, the court in America has taken Trump to court in about 16 times or 13 times, according to him?
Yes, it's possible because that's why you have the judiciary to check the executive to check the judiciary.
But if he's appointing those people, how come what is happening in Nigeria is not happening there?
So this is the thing, right? Checks and balances is what matters. So when Trump appoints, say, for example, a Supreme Court justice, right, we go for their confirmation hearing. Now, the hearing will be decided and vote will be had. And once the vote goes in favor of that candidate, the candidate then goes and sits on the bench of the Supreme Court. Right. Now, remember, the Supreme Court rule in America here is a lifetime rule. There is no tenure limit. Okay. So the president cannot remove you. If you change your mind tomorrow, you don't want to support the president, you cannot do anything.
That's understood. Okay.
Understand?
All right. So that's the difference. The main difference is that it's a lifetime.
It's a
So
lifetime
they know
rule.
they have the power for life. So nobody is
Mhm.
threatened.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. So the thing there is a lot of people, they don't really take their time to see how other systems work in comparison to Nigeria. That's why I always say anytime I'm having this conversation that Nigeria is not a dot in the ocean. Like we're not unlike any other countries. Remember when you said earlier to Sean that corruption is everywhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with you. Because everybody always think, oh, corruption. I'm like, corruption is everywhere. You see what happened in America when they unraveled USAID?
Yeah.
So much corruption. So what
So
I
much.
always say is this: the reason why we're seeing when a lot of people point to America and they see it different from their own local vicinity is just because of the fact that remember you talked about patriotism. That one is there. They are more patriotic and they will fight for their own rights in this country, right? And that's why they get most of what they want from the government. But in Nigeria, we're so subservient, right, that the government decides. We don't fight for our rights. We don't question things. We just and we play and we are too partisan. In America, you know how far partisanship can go. Partisanship will only go as far as if my pocket is hurting. Once they notice that the economy is not favoring them, they will go to the next party. The same thing in the UK. That's what's happening in your UK. Once one party is not
Wait.
favoring them
Sorry, I'm
economically,
losing you there. I'm losing you there. Are you saying that in America, political parties are not idealistic?
no, they have ideology. I'm saying for the electorate, right? For the electorate, for
Oh,
the
okay,
people,
okay. For the
right?
people. Yeah.
Their partisanship only go as far as their pockets. Now you will still have
Oh, same like Nigeria.
you will still have some die-hard people that will stick to
Yeah.
one party. Like for example, to say vote blue no matter who, or I'm a die-hard Republican. Those exist, but
Mhm.
you have a good number of people that they are center, right? They call them moderates, right? And that's why you see states in America.
They swing.
Today they can be red, tomorrow they can be blue,
Of
next
course,
month they
if
can
it's
be
not
purple.
working, yeah, because right
Exactly.
now, the next election, the both big parties in UK might lose because people are feeling like you guys don't
Mhm.
have a clue on how to fix the economy, and which is what it is. I mean, Tinubu has done to his best of ability, but yet he's still not fixing it. So people might say, okay, let's go and try somebody else.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's what
but
happens in
the
government.
point you just made, Odera, trying somebody else will not give you the answer you want.
No,
Because
let's see.
everybody keeps thinking,
What we just alluded to now is universal. I'm not saying it's just Nigeria. It's not good.
mhm,
No, I'm saying everywhere in the world, once they have something and it's not working, they want to try something
you want to
else.
try something else, yes.
Exactly. That's what's
But
happening
before
in
you,
Canada. That's what's happening everywhere.
yeah, but before you try something else, right? There's something Sean always says, and I will always agree with him because the guy gets sense. There's the time we had a debate, and Sean asked somebody that, do you understand what they call civic responsibility? That is one thing that they lack in Nigeria. Civic duties, right? Trying
And
something else.
it's coming from that patriotism.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So trying something else is not something that is uncommon across the globe, right? But before you say you want to try something else, have you done your own civic duty? There is a saying, I can't remember who said it, but I think it was a famous American president that said, do not ask what your country will do for you, ask what you will do for your country.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
We don't
that's if they feel like they are part of the country. See, X, I know that right now it doesn't look like it's the solution, but I want you to be where you are in the beginning of this.
Let me quickly chime in. See, Odera, the problem I'm having with your ideology is this. There's something X was saying earlier on. He said, insanity is doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. That is true. But also, we cannot continue to
Other
wallow in
thanks for having
sin.
me. I have to go now. Work calls. I have to go.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
no
Sean,
worries.
we'll talk later. All right.
No, but also, Odera, the other side of it is like we cannot continue to wallow in sin being the corruption, and expecting more grace. Even Bible talk am. Even if you that phrase, I think in Bible when you read it, God put am say, we shall not see it. So now the we shall not see it stage, we are in Nigeria. There is a corruption problem in Nigeria. Now, you guys are talking about how regionalism will help what's it called, develop a state. Do you know that at the moment there is a devolution of electricity across all states?
Yes.
So there is a state can generate electricity. But some state governor in Nigeria, they don't even know how to implement it. They don't know. They are just waiting for who's going to be the first person to do it, and then they can copy it. And that's why when I came in,
but that's like what you are saying in America, that Iowa is a poor state. So everybody will not have the same level, and then it's down to those particular regions to go and vote for the best amongst them, for them to have development.
I give you the respect of letting you talk. You not go let me talk.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The point I'm trying to raise is this: regionalism does not bring fairness. That's the reason why I use America as an example. If you go look at the Pacific Northwest, use it as a case study. Idaho is a small, tiny state. It's part of it. But they don't have any resources there. The only thing that they get going on for them there is farming. If you are born in that state and let's say you want to work in corporate, you have to probably move to, places like Washington, move to places like California, Oregon, or maybe you want to go to New York or Florida for you to get the lifestyle you want to live there. So I'm trying to tell you that this regionalism that you are is not going to bring fairness, because, for example, now let's play in Nigerian way. Southwest, now Yoruba, okay, they are aligned together. North aligned together. They are Hausa there. You get to the Middle East. The Middle Belt. Middle Belt, so Delta and all these oil producing Middle Belt, they are aligned together. Then there's Southeast, and then every develop itself. Are you telling me the governors at the moment that doesn't even know how to supply their own electricity? And this is not me talking down on Southeast governor or Southwest or whatever. When we have people that politics is a career for them, it's a poverty elevation program. Most of the governors, we all know it in Nigeria. It's not like they are coming with an ideology like, oh, okay, I've got this amount of people. You know the way they do in the UK now. I got this amount of people in my state, and I'm hoping to increase the wealth in that state by 5% or 10%. This is how I'm going to do it. What you are having is people who are telling you that China went back to China or something like. It will not work, irrespective of what system you are practicing. There was what's it called? A Singapore prime minister that once said, he used Nigeria as a case study. I've posted it so many times on my story. He said the reason why Nigeria will never work is you cannot force people who don't want to be together. Whether can you hear me?
Well, you're making my points now.
Odell, are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Because
you were making my point with your last statement.
Because believe you me, if three of us, even though we are human beings, we are not Mr. Muscle. If me, you, and X are working in synchrony as a team, we can move a rock. But if you say, now head we should hold it from the north, me I say no, now south. X say now for the middle we supposed to carry them up. We won't do anything. We will just keep on arguing, and that's the problem we are having in Nigeria. See, this regionalism now. What is...
I'm losing you. Can you hear me? Sean, can you hear me? Ooh, I think we've lost Sean. But
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear
yeah,
you.
Can you hear? Okay, go ahead.
So here's my last point. This regionalism, right? What is making a lot of Nigerians' eyes lit up is because of oil. And newsflash, okay? Oil probably has the next 5-6 years. We are at the peak now. A lot of economists are saying that oil is going to be as worthless as other materials in the past. You know, in America now, they are building AI, large batteries, AI. They are moving to solar power and all that. Especially with the war that is happening in Iran, people are beginning to see that, you know what, you cannot depend over oil. You need alternative. Economies need to keep moving. So what will happen when oil is no longer valuable or viable the way it is before? Now the region will get lithium. Go say, our lithium they use to run the economy. This is what we want. So again, I believe every governor, I don't understand why governor, because X explained it very well. I don't understand how we have a governor that will do 4 years, and then if they ask you what foreign investment have you brought to your country, to your state, you don't have an answer for it. You will sit down in Anambra, you will sit down in Lagos, you will sit down in Ogun State, in Enugu for 4 years, just shouting on your what's it called, on your House of Rep and on your electorate. You know, governors supposed to be out there. Oh, we have these natural resources, we need to bring it in. Oh, there's a lot of countries out there that are looking for places to invest in. Create a conducive environment. Go out. Go on business trip. Meet with people. You see, they watch news for UK. When Prime Minister in the UK is going for business trip, or even CEOs of Iceland, they follow them. Because if it's like maybe food, they need to sign, oh, we want to make a deal with this country, they produce cheaper fruit, we want to bring food to UK. These are the people that will be speaking on it. But
when Trump too is going to Middle East, is carrying CEOs up and down with him.
Thank you.
You guys are choosing the topic to capitalism. But anyway, Sean, this is my response to you.
How do you run your country? Do you run the country on capitalism, or you run the country on hope?
Okay, hold on, Smoke. Just let me finish with Sean, and he's just dropped. But anyway, my response to what Sean raised is that we need to put all these problems on a scale of preference, right? What is our priority? Everything Sean said is okay. There might be no fairness. I understand some states might be poorer than some, but that's also like capitalism. So people are going to be richer than other people. You know, if you work hard for it, you're going to be richer than people who don't work hard for it. So I sort of understand what he's saying, but I think in the Nigerian question, unity stands as one of the most crucial or the most important thing that we need to solve right now. And that unity will bring people to have a sense of purpose and to start working hard for the country. It's not like Nigerians are lazy. They're not lazy. It's not like our doctors cannot stay back and work for us. It's not like our farmers cannot work. Instead of us chapping, it's because people don't feel like they are being represented, their voices are being heard, and they cannot live there.
But when you talk about unity in what? I mean, bad people also unite, good people unite. So what do you mean by unity?
Yeah, so unity in the sense that people have a sense of belonging. So if you have 17 regions that is along ethnicity and, you know, lingua franca or language, people will feel like, okay, this is now their place. Now they want to work hard for that place. Because it seems like the 36 state is not actually doing us that good. Do you understand? The local government is just on paper. It's just like people working for the governor of the state. And the governor of the state, most states rotate along the lines of the senatorial zones. For example, Enugu State, we have Enugu West, Enugu South, Enugu, East senatorial zones, producing a governor for each, for in turns, right? That's what most states do. So it's never a time it's getting towards the core people, and like Sean said, it does not change corruption even if we switch to region. And it might even make that question even more difficult because that 6 state is still better than 17 in terms of drilling down. But at the same time, instead of everybody pointing finger at the federal, people will now be pointing finger at their regional heads. And instead of having 3, you have 17, which is a advancement. So, but the core of the whole thing is corruption. People, and that is why I said the federal or the central then needs to build a strong constitution. A strong constitution, which is what the system will be on. Because the reason why Nigeria is so weak is because our constitution is so weak. So we don't have a system. The police can do anyhow because nobody holds him accountable. EFCC can do anyhow. Anybody can do anyhow. At the end of the day, if you know anybody in APC, you are free, you are good. So those are the issues. And then coming to capitalism, of course, I've always supported capitalism with you, Smoke. So I don't think I have any issue with capitalism. We're still going to other states. They are not getting states with the new. Okay. Well, that would be interesting because that's like a merger, which is what somebody like Obasanjo have been saying, that we need to sort of form some system of government that is peculiar to Nigeria just because our issues are peculiar. So instead of adopting one system from America or UK, let's adopt something that is crazy but or maybe unique to us. Like the UK has a parliamentary system, but also is a monarchy, right? So you have to find something that works for you. So if they have to merge the states and the regions, why not? At the end of the day, what we want to see is that we've practiced this American system for 60 years, going to 60 something, almost 70 years is not working. We've practiced the UK one, it didn't work after 6 years, it collapsed. So we need to find a Nigerian system of government that will work for us. Yeah, go ahead, Smoke.
I believe all that is excuses for failure. I think right now, I think internet and social media has given us a cushion whereby talking pays. And that is why right now we just feel talking is the best option. Otherwise, I will ask you this question. You have children, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a plan for their future? Do you see their future?
Yeah, I mean, you want them to go to school, get a job, just like normal basic plan. Nothing special.
Okay, but you have a plan, right?
Yeah.
Now, that plan that you have, did you leave it to them to enact your plan, or you are forcing your plan on them indirectly, using it as guidance?
Wow. It's a guide, so they will grow and make their own plan on top of the plan that I have for them already.
Yeah,
So
but
it's like
your
a guide.
plan is the foundation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you see that when you look at US and when you are comparing Nigeria to all these countries, you will see that regardless of whatever they are doing, they have a plan. There is a plan for everything that they do, and they have an end goal that they are aiming for. Now, when we come to Nigeria, what is our plan? What is our end goal? Because all I hear is, hey, because we don't have a plan and God has blessed us with oil, all I keep hearing is, oh, let's change who controls the oil. Because the person that is controlling the oil doesn't have a plan for us. However, even the person that you are saying should control the oil still doesn't have a plan. So at the end of the day, we are all just rambling because nobody has a plan.
Well, the first plan now is to come out of debt. generate revenue and come out of debt. I think that's the focus of every government now. How do you sort of solve? We are the poverty capital of the world. We are the poverty capital. I think the first initial plan for every government, I mean, it's not a written plan, but it's like an obvious plan that everybody knows that Nigeria is not working. So they want Nigeria to work. They want Nigeria to come out of poverty. They want Nigeria to be a country that people don't want to run away from. I think that should be the plan. You know, we don't even have power. We are planning to go to Ghana and get power. And why is Ghana having power? Because they are able, because they've been stabilized, they've been stable for a long time. America is allowing them, Russia and all of that are bidding to build nuclear reactors for them. Nigeria will not ever be allowed to have a nuclear reactor. And let's face it, there is no way we're going to have power in Nigeria, powering over 250 million people without nuclear reactor. Do you understand? That's what most countries have. But because of the insurgents in Nigeria, nobody's going to allow us to lay hold to nuclear power. So we have to go and borrow from Ghana.
All I hear is excuses. Here is where I will finish you. Because that's why I still speak of capitalism. And when all of you talk, I get angry. You are Igbo, right?
Yeah.
In Nigeria, what do we know Igbo people are? Igbo people are business, right? Thank you. What cars are trending in Nigeria right now?
What cars?
Yes, what type of cars are trending in Nigeria right now? Is it
electric
petrol cars or electric cars?
Electric.
Who is bringing the electric cars into Nigeria?
Oh, there's many different types of electric cars now.
Which tribe mostly is bringing electric cars into Nigeria?
Igbos.
Who has a car company in Nigeria?
Igbos, Yoruba.
Igbos. So why are you going to China to bring the same thing that you are producing in your house?
Is there electric product? I think there's an assembly plant by a few
No,
of them, but I
no
don't think they are
plan.
producing it yet.
No plan. No plan. All I'm hearing is excuses, excuses, excuses. The same car that you are bringing into Nigeria is the same car that Europeans are saying it is cheap, it is
Yes,
rubbish,
but
you
but
cannot buy it.
but
Yet
look but
you,
look at but look at but look at the thing. Look at the thing.
uh-huh.
Look at the thing. You said something. You said when Trump is going anywhere, he's going with CEOs.
Mhm.
And Sean said when the prime minister is going anywhere, he's going with CEOs of big franchise or chain, top chain businesses. In Nigeria, first thing you have as a major setback is government taxes, and there is no power. It's like it's an uphill tax to be an entrepreneur. So until and unless you have an enabling environment for capitalists and government is working with them, do you know that if you listen to Dangote tell you the hurdles he had to pass through to build that refinery, you will see that the government is like they're out there against you, more or less.
But did he build it or did he not build it?
He did because of his
Okay.
tenacity. But then his friend was laughing at him, pulling money
because,
out.
yeah, but guess why he built it? Because he had a plan. He knows his plan. And
No, but I've seen a lot of Nigerians that have traveled from here to Nigeria with a plan, going to establish businesses in Abuja. I know somebody that said this, I think he said he lost about £87,000, right?
yeah,
Imagine
but
taking that kind of money as a loan, going to Nigeria with a plan.
we are using individuals as an example of.
No, I'm just trying to let you know how these things can go all the way up. So when Dangote was saying, when Dangote was giving his own,
you are complaining about the government, right? And
yes,
there should be a shift in the constitution, right?
yes.
So let's stick to government now.
Okay, let's stick to government.
I am telling you.
Okay, let's stick to government. I'm not gonna make excuses for them. But recently they arrested the guy that was Minister of Power that wasted about 300 something billion. Now, if I'm a president, all I can do is to say you are Minister of Power. You're Minister of Power, you come back and say to me, Mr. President, I'm working with Siemens. They promised to do this for us. They are doing it in another country. This is how much money, and I sign. You now go and siphon down money. Tell Siemens that they must give you bribe. Siemens pulls out from that. You siphon down money to your personal account. That's exactly what's going on in Nigeria. Now, EFCC is now supposed to go after you, and you have election to face. You fail, and probably somebody else takes over. So that is what Sean is trying to say. Our problem is corruption, and we spend more time trying to find corrupt people, retrieve what they've stolen, that we leave things undone. You start something halfway, you finish a federal project of, do you know how many times they've awarded that Lagos Onitsha road? But it's not done because of what? Corruption. Corruption kills growth. It kills economic growth. So, in essence, what I'm trying to say is that Tinubu have tried his best. I'm not trying to say that as a praise for him. What I'm actually saying is that he's unable to solve the problems of Nigeria because he's beyond his best.
Excuses for failure. Again, I keep saying it. All I've been hearing from you is excuses for failure. Now, to other countries, do they also face corruption? Yes or no?
They do, but they have stronger systems, yes.
Why do they have stronger systems?
I don't know. Their government fix stronger systems.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know the same way our government don't know. We have to be truthful to ourselves. We Nigerians, most of us, we are dumb. We don't have sense. When it comes to the whole world, we don't have sense compared to other regions. And me, I'm just being factual. We don't have a plan. Other countries have a plan. That is why their corruption is minimal. I will give you examples. Oh, banks, when money is above 10K, you have to send alert to so and so. So and so, when those so and so come and hit you, you have to deal with it. There's structures for everything. When you don't plan to curb it, guess what? There won't be structures for it. You plan that your children will be successful. That's why you're sending them to school. If you don't plan that they won't be successful, you wouldn't send them to school. It is them that will decide if they want to go to school or not go
Yeah,
to school.
but what I'm trying to say to you, is that no, hold on.
No. We are too dumb to figure it out. And
No,
God has blessed, let me land. God has blessed us with oil. That is why it is the only thing that we have. And we cannot produce any other thing. Any other thing we cannot produce. It is only that oil. And that is why every time we are talking about, hey, let's change it to see who can control the oil money. Not, oh, let's figure out how we can build infrastructures.
yeah, but what I'm trying to say to you now is, as a president, you give money to the governors, you cannot micromanage them. They are executives of their own. So it's either they choose to work for the people or not. They have been voted. So at the end of the day, I mean, the other day I think it was Babangida that was saying that he sacked a governor for corruption, that military was not as corrupt. But then people don't want military. People want democracy, so to speak. So at the end of the day, you cannot do everything from where you sit. I might want my children to be successful and send them to school, but if other factors don't come into play, who are their teachers? What are they being taught? Who are their friends? Do they for themselves want to succeed? You might find out that you might mean well for those children and God forbid, you might not. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that we are, as a consequences of the kind of people we are corrupt people. Like he said, if we are building a house, for example, you have to make sure you factor in people that will steal money, because we are not an honest people. Compared to Japan, they will finish in their stadium, they will tidy up themselves. They are better people, they are very considerate, they don't make noise. We are loud, we are disrespectful, we want to show we are crazy. So there's so many things that in our core as a people are wrong. That's what he's saying, and I agree to that. A core American probably might be considerate, doesn't want to make noise, doesn't want to horn. Nigerian is the opposite. Do you understand? And unfortunately, we have to elect leaders from this kind of people. Now, what I'm trying to say is that we have a people problem and also have a policy problem. Now, that policy is trying to get addressed, or we're trying to address it to see, okay, with all these issues we have, can we at least still have a little bit of patriotism? Okay, what can lead to that patriotism is unity. Let's allow people to unify among ethnic lines. This is not what it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to be allowing people to be voting on ethnic lines or language lines. But unfortunately, this is where our minds are. This is the only thing we can use to do our politics. Okay, let's do it and see if at least it will work. Because they've tried presidential, it's not working. They've tried that one, it's not working. Okay, let them try something else. So they're just trying, like, try and error on how to get this thing to work.
No plan. So you tell me, how is it that the country is finding it hard to control its economy? However, Dangote that is still in that same country is surviving.
So let me answer you. So Dangote gets to choose, who he gives a job to. But unfortunately,
the government don't get to choose.
No, the government don't get to choose who is a citizen. So your citizens are both your intellectuals, your average people, your illiterate, and Nigeria make a whole lot of illiterate.
The government doesn't control the amount of people that will send applications into his job.
No, you're not getting what I'm trying to say. So what I'm saying is that the government is not there for just the educated people. Government is not just there for the knowledgeable people. So you're supposed to look after both the idiots in your country, the illiterate and the illiterates. And that's why you have, in some part of the country, people will just go and kill for no reason. They still have to govern those people. They have to educate those people. Okay, I saw a video in the north where some people were breaking a gutter, a gutter that was covered just to get road, just to scavenge iron condemn. What do you call that? They are citizens. They are still your people. You are still responsible for their safety. Even as stupid as what they are doing, they are. So in America, you won't see that. You won't see anybody trying to steal a pole of light. So this is where we are at.
You know why? Do you know
Yes, the
why?
topic is regional government. Smile. What do you think? Do you agree with the new regional government as a way of unifying Nigeria, or do you think the presidential system of government should be maintained? Go ahead.
Do you know why that cannot happen in America?
Because they're educated. They are far more better
No,
than
it's not
populate.
because no, it's not because they're educated.
And they are patriotic.
No, it's not because they are patriotic.
Why?
It's because you can't just steal something from the router and go and sell it. Who are you selling it to? Who is buying it? If you are a business person that is buying just condemned road from somebody, did you do your investigation? Did you know if that road was stolen or that person is an assigned person to sell that road? That is a plan. That is policies. You provide it. That's how you cut corruption. That is how you cut stealing. When you don't have a plan,
Well, fair point. Fair point to you. Fair point to you. And why I said fair point to you is that I learned the other day in the UK railway, the cable. If you steal the cable, nobody will buy it from you because they sort of know it is unique to that sector. Whereas in Nigeria, anybody can cut any rail and sell anywhere. Yeah, I agree with you, but unfortunately, what people don't understand with corruption is that it has a telling effect. It has a long consequences that the people you did not educate yesteryears are going to produce more illiterate, give birth to more children without thinking. At the end of the day, okay, they said Nigeria is aiming to be the third most populous country by 2050, about 411 million people. So that's our projection, and that's a larger chunk of that is going to be highly uneducated because so many places, about 140 million children out of school. So envisage more of these problems. And I'm sorry, we don't have the populace of America or Japan, but we need to start from somewhere. I understand what you're saying about plan, but
we need to start admitting that we are dumb and stupid. And then somebody has to come out with sensible guidelines in how he's going to change the country.
unfortunately, when Goodluck was building all these schools, they were busy, trying to. In fact, that was the main reason why they hated Goodluck, because they believe civilization is not good for them. Talking about people from the north. So it's very complex. It's not like the government doesn't want to do anything, but it's just very complex.
I mean, education is good and all, but even the Bible gave us an example. If you don't feed the people, whatever you are saying doesn't come in. Most of these countries that everybody is talking about, the reason why people talk about them is because even the less privileged, they feed them.
Another thing I can say, Smoke, before I round up because I'm tired, is that I guess the government also give up. They give up because, say, for example, I'm the one that built that road, commissioned that road, and the people you built that road to use it, covered the gutter for them to use as a walkway, are destroying it to scavenge. Yes, I understand they are poor. Again, it goes back to what you were saying. There's no welfareism. You have to feed your poor. Otherwise, they will damage your infrastructure, simple as. Because, like I said, the UK also have a system to make sure the poor are fed. And that's probably why you don't see people damaging or stealing things. And there are still people who go to shops and just steal and run away. And sometimes police catch them and sometimes they make away with it. So it's just for government to understand that they are not there to steal money for themselves. But sometimes I feel like these government officials, they give up on the country. They just feel like they cannot solve all these problems. So let me just steal money for enough for my family and just go. But we all have to come from a point of believing that if we start solving it slowly, we'll get there someday.
Again, like I said, we have to admit that we are all dumb as a people.
But it's obvious now. If you are the poverty capital of the world, what else? With all the resources, you are very unintelligent. But anyway, we also produce the very intelligent people.
Until Jesus Christ come to Nigeria, there is really no saving. Because
I mean, our secondary school students are winning globally as best students and everything. So I think Nigerians are not all dumb, but we have a large population that are really dumb. But anyway.
The people that are smart, guess what? The people that have a plan have come to take them. You know why? Because they have a plan. when I'm building a school to be the best school in the whole world, how do I attract the best students in the whole world? There is anybody in the whole world that gets 98 to 100, you can come to my school for free. If my country does not give you visa, we will apply to my country to give you visa. Now tell me, who in Nigeria will get 98 to 100? We have that opportunity and we say no, I will stay in Nigeria. Because your Nigeria did not have a plan for somebody that has 98 to
Brain
100.
drain. No, you are spot on.
You have a plan for somebody that has 98 to 100.
Which is why we are all here. When we left Nigeria, we didn't leave Nigeria to come and stay here. I mean, I remember when I was leaving, I went to do my passport. I was a young kid then, and the comptroller, whatever, what they call the comptroller of customs in Asabada said to me, "Oh, where are you going, a young man?" I said, "I'm traveling." I said, "Hope you're gonna come back." And I said to him, "Yeah, well, who's gonna come back?" After coming here, and I'm like, "Wow, is this how a country should be?" I'm like, "I'm not going back there." So again, you are right. If you don't make plans,
Forget this stuff.
if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So yeah, Smoke, you are spot on. I think whenever the government are actually ready to fix Nigeria, I don't think it's rocket science. You just have to put a system that is strong enough to checkmate both you, the government, and the people, knowing fully well that you are there for just 4 years and somebody else will go in there. And if Nigeria is good, it's good for everybody. So yes, I'm going to leave it here. I don't know how long I've been, but I think I've done 2 hours, 30 minutes. So thank you. It's good to come back live. I don't know if I have energy to do this again. But in conclusion, Smoke, do you?
In conclusion, Tinubu is trash. Tinubu is dumb and he does not have a plan. Don't be saying Tinubu has done
No.
it.
When I said he's done his best, some people think I'm complimenting him. I'm not. What I'm saying is that this is his best, and his best is still not good enough for Nigeria.
No. We don't consider that as best. That is a disgrace to the black
You
race.
know when somebody said I've done my best, they failed at it. So Tinubu is a failure, but at the same time, this is his best. His best is failure. There's nothing else he knows to do that he has done. That he hasn't done. He has done everything he knows.
Then you call it, you say, Tinubu has done his best in failing. You don't even say he has done his best. You say he has
No,
done
for him, I mean, when you listen to people like Felix Smoker and some of these intelligent minds that you think are supporting him, they genuinely believe that they are working so hard. I mean, like somebody just said that, I think it was Sean that said that Nigeria is on all-time high generated revenue for 100 years. I was in my head, I was doing the calculation. How can they be in all-time high? And yet we're the poverty capital. And yet there's so much poverty. And yet you can't buy fuel. But again, these things can be so deceiving because the dynamics are so for especially people like you probably will understand. Foreign investors will make so much money because Nigeria have a lot of returns on stocks and stuff like that, but that's for foreign investors. But poor people and the downtrodden, they're not making a lot of money. People are still, so the poor keeps getting poorer while the rich keep getting richer. And that's the problem. You need to have a good taxing system. Like in the UK, the more you earn, the more tax you pay. And that will force that middle class. In Nigeria, there is no middle class now. It's either you are super rich or you are super poor. So again, it is down to policy problem, and it is what it is, unfortunately. I just see John coming. I wanted to say, but Smoke, before I go, do you support the regional system of government?
No, I support sending Nigeria to USA and giving me my court.
So you support America getting Canada over?
Who said Canada? I said Nigeria.
I know, but do you support Canada being?
No, I mean I'm not Canadian, so nothing.
I don't support that either. I think Trump should leave. I love Trump, but I think he should leave Canada alone.
For our people and Nigeria, yes, look at us today. What do we have? We have nothing. We are literally the dumbest race in the whole world.
Yeah, but anyway, in conclusion, I must say this, that
in conclusion, this regional thing is just stop. Again, like I've said in the beginning, it's like social media has given us this this wins that oh the top gets more income or maybe they are popular against but this party has been up here and has done us nothing. The first talk of oh we change. Then oh let's divide. Then oh let's do Biafra and see now we want to do everything is just talk. No plan. When I was in NYSC, right? They were they said the same thing, let us split. I asked one simple question. Right now that we haven't split, what have you people done? Since then, they could still fight me for Tinapa. Have you? You don't like that Tinapa? Is it Tinapa? And they
Tinapa, I
ask
don't
you
even
now,
know that.
that's fine place whereby then they do festival for there.
I don't even know.
You don't even know. I don't, the people that know. But it was like Disney World. You know Disney World, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it was like Disney World. It was a place like that. People were coming in. I think then when I was doing NYSC, they had that. Today, that place is no more. That place is no more. Meaning what?
So,
There was even no
so,
plan
so,
for
so
that
you are
place.
saying regional governments will not help?
And if you don't have a plan, you are planning to fail.
But yes or no,
To
is regional
fail.
government better than presidency? Yes or no?
Bro, nothing is better because anything you suggest has no plan.
Okay, regional
Nobody
government
has
with
a
plan,
plan.
presidential with plan. What do you think?
Nobody has a plan for Nigeria. The only plan that everybody has in Nigeria is say, how can I benefit myself and get the fuck out? It's the
Fire.
plan of Nigeria.
It's so funny because I sent Everest this thing and Everest was like Nigerian unity. It will never happen. Anyway,
Everybody is for themselves. And we don't
anyway,
have to remember
anyway, you are right. We are heavily our problems, but unfortunately, somebody has to do something about this. As I'm about to go, the joy is sending requests.
let me
My
let me leave this love for other people to join. I've
no. You can stay. I mean, the joy is sending requests now. I don't know. Let's just see if we can get him in.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Longest time.
I do. How you say? Smoke Baba.
Hmm.
now generally that
Yeah, and I mean.
generally
I just want to chip in a few things.
I like your hat. I like your hats at the background.
Oh yeah. Those are
Yeah.
mine. But anyways, make I show you this one. This one I might die on. Not be my
Mm.
die on. This guy own.
What do they call him? Cowboy.
who
You see,
Yeah.
you America now.
so
Yeah.
the Donald JT Trump. But anyways, that's on the side.
Yeah.
Smoke. I have some little discussion. I think we probably would conclude this weekend. Hopefully, if we get enter the agenda. But for the sake of this discussion, um, my brother, sorry, your name skip me.
Odera.
Odera. I've always been of the school of thought that the only difference between then and now is time that has changed. I'm always of the school of thought that there's never really a time Nigeria really worked for us as a citizen. You understand? So,
No, but there's some people that enjoyed this Nigeria. Them Tinubu, their generation enjoyed it then. They were giving them
yeah.
food in school. They were
So
giving
yeah,
them
yeah,
bursaries and stuff like that. But
yeah, yeah,
they messed the country up for
yeah.
us.
I know. I agree. But let me just land my point. So those times that you just made reference to were times where we literally operated regional governments. So
Yeah.
based on your question earlier is what sparked my head to want to say, okay, yeah, regional government worked kind of,
Yeah.
hey, regions, south, southeast, we had 6 geopolitical zones then. So the only time you ever considered Nigeria worked was when we were operating regional government before we now made it a federal or a central government, right? So that's on the side. Then those times you also mentioned, Odera. I mean, I'm an '80s born, so at least I experienced Nigeria in the early late up until now, early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s. Other, we had millions, in the millions of Nigerians, right? In the mid 90s, we can say we have middle class then, but we have millions of us who couldn't even afford basic things. When you look back, I'm just going to cite example from Beautiful Langu. If when you look back, right from the likes of Fela, the likes of Barista, the likes of Kollington, the likes of Salawa, the likes of African China, people who has been singing, there's none of them who has never sang a song about how Nigerians were suffering. Those Tinubu you mentioned then, they were still of the high class, so they were not even middle class. So it's still the same, strategy that is being operated, that's still being operated now. That mid 90s, I remember very well. I usually say it. There used to be a time where we had something what we call stove Abacha.
Yeah, Abacha stove, yeah.
Abacha sawdust and this thing. Millions of us used it. And guess what? This time around, then, where they tell you, so they use that stove Abacha and all those charcoal, they were using because I showed kerosene then. We're using Star Bottle and Fanta. Star Bottle was 11 naira.
Okay.
Fanta bottle in measurement with kerosene was 6
To sell
naira.
kerosene, yeah. They
People
pour it into that cylinder thing and turn it upside down.
People
But let's catch fire.
gallon of kerosene then was 60 naira. That 5 liter was 60 naira. Brother, in millions, people could still even afford it. So when it comes to Nigeria, political this thing is a done deal for me, because at the end of the day, if we don't agree that this is a problem,
We understand the problem. What we are saying is that, do you think this regional government that they are proposing, 17 of them, right? They have caliphate in the north, Savannah, they have Yoruba region, Igbo region, Lower Benue region, Akwa Ibom region, River. Do you think it will be a good step to unity?
Well, as far as
and economic viability for those regions.
If those regions don't stand independently, it's going to be hard in terms of
No,
unity.
but that's why it is regional. So that means you stand independently and then you give to the center.
It's going to work, because trust me.
Thank you.
Trust me. Under this umbrella of AKA Nigeria, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have people who we can't even assure ourselves that they are operating the same constitution that's governing you and me, which is the North. The North strictly follow like 80 to 90% of Sharia law, not even our constitutional law.
But that's what they are saying. So that's what they are saying, that in some of the
thing. We are saying
no. What I'm saying is that, so that's what they are saying now, that they want to, this new constitution that they want to write for the Nigerian government, they want to make sure that it extinguishes the running parallel caliphate, this thing, and then running. So in Nigeria, we have the normal constitution and we still have the what they call penal code or whatever. So it's a mess. So they want to write a new constitution that sort of comes from the people and makes sense to the Nigerian people.
Yes, because honestly, we used to say it all the time that, all this the constitution, the Nigerian constitution is what binds us regardless of what region we are. The current constitution we operate, right? So, but at some point, it favors some part, it doesn't favor some part. And if we really look deep, the people who came together to put up this constitution didn't do a good job. It was more of selfish-based thing. They didn't really do a good job, but I'm going to leave that aside. But number one, and this is the reason and the only reason why I would always be a supporter of the likes of Shore, because they are tackling the issue from the roots. I don't care whether it doesn't have more supporters. Whoever had the number of supporters today, they started from somewhere too. You may talk about structure. When Obedience, started, Obedience really didn't have AKA structure. The people became the structure. And this is the only reason why I can encourage anyone who...
On Showore, I believe that any day P2B is not on the ballot, I believe that all Obedience will support Showore, because I think he's the next... He's the next kind of character next to P2B, after P2B.
Don't let us lay them on layers.
No,
You
but
know,
that's what I genuinely think. I think
yeah,
because I think
which
why
is fine,
Showore
but
is
I
not
don't think we
getting
really need
is
to.
because
When you
of
look at
P2P.
their,
Once P2P is out of the system, yeah, Showore will get all the pay.
when you look at their manifesto and what they stand for, I, I wouldn't wait to say, okay, maybe until we get out or we get hold.
No,
Let's see
you know
their
why I say
vision.
that? Because Showore is talking about legalizing marijuana, and I mean Nigeria is already. The other day they caught a lot of kilos of cocaine. I think about 200 or something kilos, and they're even
Cocaine is
manufacturing it in
problem,
Nigeria.
man.
Odera, Odera,
So
Odera, Odera.
we're not we are not
Regulation.
in that place yet. We've not even
No,
we've
regulation
not
is what you need.
hold on. We've not policed ourselves very well. Not to talk of when you now say let people now start smoking and
That's why I
Brother,
say
let's start
smoking is not
legalizing
our
marijuana.
problem.
no plan.
It's gonna
Smoking,
be.
smoking
I know I'm
marijuana
talking
is
to
not has
No
never been our
smokers, but
problem.
I know I'm talking to smokers, but what I'm saying is that
No,
Nigeria is suffering
smokers.
from a drug problem that Showore
no,
cannot come and say let's
and
legalize
weed is not part of
marijuana.
it.
You
Odera, you're
have
mistaking
no
it.
plan, Odera. You have no plan. That is why you are talking like this. Because let me tell you
Yeah,
something.
weed is not part of it.
The same concept for weed is the same concept for alcohol and
It's the
beer.
same, no difference.
That's what I'm
Yes,
saying. Yeah,
it's
you can police marijuana. Yeah, in America, you cannot police it in Nigeria.
no,
If you legalize it in Nigeria, they're gonna abuse it.
no.
Let me tell
You
you
are
something,
just
Odera. Let me tell you something.
you are just too dumb to understand it. Let me just say, politicize it or do whatever they start doing and start selling a cigar box. Who will be selling the cigar list? Who will be selling the weed in the cigar box? Nigeria.
Do you guys know the most hardest countries to govern? It's actually all these South American countries that have cartels. You know what it took for them to bring down El Chapo and the other guy that he's working with. So you think Nigeria has these things will destroy Nigeria completely?
But
So we're not there yet. I'm not saying for the future, but now we're not there yet.
they did, and you know why they did? Because they had a plan.
Now,
They had
on that, smoke, see, understand where I'm coming from. I know you guys are pro smoking, but I am not. I'm a born again Christian.
smoking. I'm not talking about
All
smoking.
I'm trying to
I'm
say,
talking about in general. I'm talking about in general. In
okay, in
general.
general, yes. No, I agree that we don't have a plan. I agree.
If the cartels are in Nigeria, do you think governments can take over? If
No.
you know why? Because we are too weak, we don't have a plan. Why are the cartels afraid of Americans? Because no matter what, they know these people have a fucking plan to the end. And if you kill me, guess what? The plan is now
Okay.
forever.
All right. We have to start next time from here.
Yeah, I
Do you have
mean, I just tip it.
any closing remarks?
Odera, give me like 2-3 minutes. Smoke. Say I don't know where Odera stand in this thing I want to do. Now smoke, I want to direct this talk to smoke. Say I tell you last time, say I don't care whatever VDM does or do if he really wants to effect change in our country, in the system. He needs to politicize himself. Shebi waiting I talk that time don't happen now. Shebi in turn don't talk say one register political party now. So there's no amount of charity or whatever waiting we do. We don't see charity take day. The biggest billionaires in Nigeria get charity. So I've always told you that charity, we cannot charity our way out of this current suffering that we are suffering. So if you want to make, and those are one of, I mean, he has said it. You've seen videos where he said that, Seun Kuti tried to, well, he used the word force, and I know he didn't force him. Seun Kuti tried to use the word, they tried to force him to come and join political party. And Seun has reiterated several times on his video that he's not forcing anyone to come to MOP. But even if it's APC you want to join, you have to align yourself with the political party because that is the only path with which you can effect change. So if you like, if you catch people where they do fake product today, since before they even born VDM, say fake product don't do Nigeria. No be VDM inform me say that they say fake products for Nigeria. No be VDM inform me. There's nothing new VDM has unveiled that is new to me. And I'm sure we have millions of us like that, So I've always been like, so a part of me, not even a part of me, wholeheartedly, I was so happy when he made that statement, because I know he's going to make a move towards it, then he can now understand, you know, the true process to which you can even register your own political party in Nigeria when they know you are a threat. So now when you don't come out, talk say he want to register a political party, yes, that is the best move. Now I can begin to look into his angle to say, okay, let me
Now
support
you
him.
go see your position.
You
Now when you
understand? So every other thing
now
that
you
he's
go know what
doing,
to resolve.
smoke, every other thing we done they do before, to me, I they see him as distraction because brother, we cannot charity our way out of our current state in terms of
But
poverty.
well done to him though. I don't agree with him every time, but he's doing so well.
Yeah. So
Now,
that's one
now,
on the side. And lastly, give me one more
Guys, please,
minute.
I need to go. I need to go. Yeah.
Give me one more minute, smoke, no verse. So now, and that is the smoke. This, I mean, this one are partly of you. I said it several times before that I've never really considered anyone like considered supporting or supporting the ideology of Nnamdi Kanu, for instance. I don't know if you're a supporter or not, but I started looking
Yeah.
towards his angle when he made one statement. Since then, I've been an advocate of him that people think 100% he wants Nigeria to divide.
Mm.
He said he doesn't want Nigeria to divide. But if we are still going to be operating this constitution, we have to renegotiate it. Because this thing, they favor everybody, especially
Mm.
us will be the Igbo. You understand? So if we're going to stay together, let's renegotiate our constitution. If we're not, it's better everybody goes. I rest
That's
my
that's
submission.
that's that's why this regional thing is going to answer that problem, because some people are stuck. Nigeria was so young when they went through the civil war. Nigeria was only 6 years old. 6. So that thing gave us a lot of shock and trauma that we are still stuck in it, right? So we are going to pass that hurdle and start developing if we have this regional thing and practice it very well. And then
Yeah,
people
because
will be scared of, going into civil war and everything. And then having a concrete plan like Smoke is saying will come from somebody being at that central, that federal government that has vision. Somebody like Peter will be being there that has vision. It will really, really help Nigeria, because, oh man, our country is so far backward that we have a lot of work to do. Otherwise, we are going to
let's smoke
continue
give us the
being.
submission and we can go. Me too, I don't get time. I'll say
Yeah,
what I can quickly chip in
I
something.
Smoke,
just say this.
in few words, please round up for us.
Yes, I just say that this is addressed to Mr. January based on, the video, but I'm telling you my own simple way, right? Now, most of you know that, I like, this financial way, right? And I like talking about it. Now, the reason why I talk about it, even though I'm a shy person and I like to just keep to myself, right? The reason why I'm trying to open up is because I am seeing what other people are doing. And I'm thinking to myself, you can do this better and both parties gain and both parties be happy, instead of you charging people and scheming people. So you know what? I am building myself little by little, and at least I have gained trust of some people. When I now gain trust of some people, guess what? I am now a bit opened, and before you know it, I opened my before I usually block my page. My other page, I opened it up. You understand? I'm starting to do this financial something small by small. Even though when I started, what did I say? I disagreed with it. So when we go back to VDM, I am saying when he was doing all those ones, you are seeing his distraction. No, I feel it's just him building up his integrity. So that yes, by the time you get into government, people have seen your integrity and people have seen things that you have done. And by the time you speak, I think people will be able to relate. And I feel that is a good plan. Now, if MOP and Sean Kuti had gone through that plan, trust me, I will be behind his back. However, I don't see no help. I just see blaming and come to me. I'm the savior. So that's why I don't agree with him, and that's why I go with VDM, because VDM, at least I see
Anyway,
what I'm doing,
the
and I
the
go with it.
the only thing I can add before I actually close to that is that all these parties need to come together and find a simple ideology that works for them. Showore insisting that he's the only saint does not really go down well with a lot of people. He's like a very high moral judge that sometimes people feel like nobody's going to be good enough for him to accept. that he's, that, he doesn't approve of anybody, not even Alex Otti or Peter Obi or anybody. And now VDM also is also of that high level sort of scrutiny that almost everybody in his eyes is also that bad. And that's what kind of Nigeria likes, because Nigeria have seen so much bad that anything that looks like bad is bad. So they don't see any good. So that's why VDM telling the party is good, but it wouldn't stop at that. There need to be synergy. Showore, Peter Obi, everybody need to come together and say, okay, yes, we cannot trust them. It's like Two-Face sang a song and said, you have to trust someone. We have to trust someone because, even politics, as deadly and as the worst betrayal, this thing, game that it is, people still have to put their trust on somebody to work with. So again, politics will also give VDM some level of wisdom. You understand that all this tearing down of people and fighting everybody, that you actually need people. That's why in politics, there's no permanent friend or enemy. And we all need to work together. Imagine VDM working with Showore and Showore working with Peter Obi and how much they can actually achieve. I'm just saying. I will leave that as a thought. But thank you guys for coming. Thank you, DeJoy. Thank you, Smoke. Really appreciate you, bro. And every other person that joined, Sean X, Praise, I really appreciate you guys. It's just an interesting conversation. And let's keep watching as it unfolds and as we try to do this. Because I keep saying to myself, if this our generation does not fix Nigeria, what our children don't even know where to start. We don't have history for the longest year. Different people have different history of Nigeria in their head. Nobody know what is actually the truth, and we are just floating. So we need to start making sense of this whole thing and start building something that will last and outlast us and have a better country for our children. Otherwise, most of us that give birth abroad, we've lost, it's like they don't go with that, and we pray that they might be able to find their route back, and that route, when they find it, will be something they will be willing to associate with, which is actually where our fears are for those of us who are abroad and are having kids abroad. But anyway, thank you so much and good night. Hopefully, whenever I have strength again, I will try this live again. I appreciate, boss. Bye.
Thank you, man.
Good
Smoke.
night. Yeah.
Good time.